Tanya J. Powers. In 2 hours, President Biden will pardon Peaches and Blossom, carrying out a pre-Thanksgiving tradition of sparing 2 turkeys, as Democrats keep preparing for President-elect Trump's return and his planned mass deportations after record illegal immigration.
Blue state prosecutors have been preparing for a potential Trump presidency for months. Speaking to Politico, some Democrat attorneys general say their potential actions may include challenging President-elect Trump if he tries to federalize the National Guard. They can even fight Trump if he tries to withhold federal funding from local authorities who don't assist in carrying out deportations. But some prosecutors are reportedly worried that the Trump administration is better prepared this time around to withstand legal challenges.
Fox's Madeline Rivera. Russia has captured a former British soldier.
The Russian state news agency TASS identifies the man as James Anderson. TASS quotes a military source describing the 22-year-old as a UK mercenary taken prisoner in the Kursk region of Russia. That's where Ukraine launched an incursion in August, seizing several hundred square miles.
That's Fox's Jonathan Savage. Israel is working out a potential ceasefire with Iran-backed Hezbollah in Lebanon. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Bullets flying everywhere. Radar is clear. It's cloudy, 56 on Monument Circle. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:02. 12 people shot in a matter of hours in separate incidents throughout Indianapolis on Saturday leading into Sunday. One of them, an argument outside that escalated outside the strip club.
Outside in the parking lot, numerous shots rang out. And unfortunately, we have an adult male with wounds consistent with a gunshot wound.
IMPD Captain Don Weilhammer. 2 other people were killed in separate shootings as well. 191 people have died by homicide in Indy this year. A cold front will be moving through later today, lowering temperatures a bit, but by Thanksgiving, expect things to get even colder.
Yeah, that's part of the La Nina pattern. The subtle La Nina does tend to allow surges of colder air to come down out of Canada. And once we get into this weekend, we are going to see a blast of cold air arriving across the area.
Jason Puma with the National Weather Service. Highs in the low 30s by the weekend. A couple of officers are on leave in Rochester after shooting a man over the weekend. They were responding to a domestic disturbance call and say that the man involved pulled out a gun and pointed it at the officers. That's when they opened fire. A giveaway today. 100 refurbished laptops will be given to pre-selected Indianapolis families. Sasha Nixon explains.
The giveaway is meant to help close the digital divide. The digital divide essentially refers to the gap between those who have internet and device access and those who do not. One study shows that about 13% of Hoosier households don't have such access. Chosen families for the giveaway do not currently have devices at home. Sasha Nixon, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Penalties. There were 10 of them committed by the Indianapolis Colts on Sunday in a 24-6 loss to Detroit. Quarterback Anthony Richardson.
As a team, it hurts us. Whenever you're out there playing a good team like that, you can't beat yourself and try to beat the other team at the same time. So the penalties definitely hurt us.
They have the Patriots in New England next Sunday. Traffic on the 5s, Matt Baer.
Yeah, Kurt, north side, vehicle fire, westbound 465 before Meridian 31. It's blocking the left lane, stopping us back to Keystone Avenue for an 11-minute delay. And northbound 6570, still a little bit slow through the north split out to Meridian Penn. Traffic sponsored by PureTalk.com. Stop overpaying for your cell phone plan. Pure Talk gives you unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month on their 5G network. Dial pound 250 and say keyword switch now to save 50% off your first month. I'm Matt Bear with traffic on the 5s. Follow us at WIBC Traffic.
Hey, it's Rob. If you want to grow your hair back, check out the precision and accuracy of the Artist Robotic FUE at We Grow Hair Indy. You'll be amazed at the permanent natural results you can get and get back to work ASAP. Darren Andrews, Clinic Director of We Grow Hair Indy, is here to tell us more.
The Artist Robotic FUE hair transplant at We Grow Hair Indy, one of the most sophisticated hair transplant procedures available. The accuracy and the precision of the Artist Robotic FUE is what clients love the most. Get the results you want with our Artist FUE or multi-unit hair grafting procedure.
Don't wait. Call today and find out more about the Artist Robotic FUE at WeGrowHairIndy.com. Call 317-522-2995 for your hair evaluation. 317-522-2995 or go to WeGrowHairIndy.com and grow your hair back today.
Express the heartwarming message that says love is about being together. Let a Pierce Jewelers diamond engagement ring be the symbol that says I love you. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
Join Sullivan Hardware and Garden early on Friday. Enjoy a little breakfast and save on gifts, decor, clothing, jewelry, and more. Shop, play, experience Christmas with Sullivan's.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Pierce Jewelers, Carmel's jewelry experts.
The forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center. A few showers possible today as a cold front moves through, a high of 59. Colder tomorrow, a high of 44 with a low of 35 coming by Tuesday evening. Right now, it is 56 and cloudy downtown. I'm Kurt Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Well, good morning. It is Monday, November 25th. It is 7 minutes after 9. It's the Kendall and Casey show on 93 WIBC. Rob Kendall has the day off. He actually has the week off. And in the studio, Jim Roberts. So you've got Daniels and the dude today. And boy, it's been an auspicious start. What a Monday we've had so far, and we've only just begun.
What's going on at this place?
A lot. Kevin got stuck in the elevator this morning. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm a little shaken up, but I think I'm going to be all right.
Yeah, so I'm getting here to the station, and I get a text from Kevin, and he says, I'm stuck in the elevator.
And you're like, I usually get that text from Rob.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, honestly, it was just more frustrating than anything because I got here a little earlier than usual, and then that happened.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, it was ridiculous, but I had to call the elevator service.
And what did they say?
And the lady was pretty friendly with me. I think she recognized my voice and knew I was kind of a big deal, so she wanted to help me out.
So here you were trying to be a good employee. You showed up early on a Monday morning, ready to go, do a good job, and you got punished for it by getting stuck in the elevator. The lesson here is don't try.
Yeah.
Stop trying to come in early. You just kind of throw in at the last minute, I guess.
You definitely have the best results when you don't try, so I agree with that.
So what was your biggest concern when you were stuck in the elevator?
Well, probably that I wouldn't have enough food to survive.
Not that he was going to be able to get all the audio pulled for this #1 rated radio program.
No, I was just purely worried about survival.
Survival instinct.
Eat my shoe.
In. Yeah. We also had phone problems this morning. I was trying to collect all the voicemails, and it kept hanging up on me. The computers are locking out.
There's like this concrete thing in the parking garage, at the parking garage entrance. So
yeah, it looked like somebody grabbed this big metal bar, and they were doing pull-ups or something, and it broke. So now it's just like dangling there. You can't even use one of the pathways to get into the garage.
I think that we need a Biden infrastructure bill for the Emmis building in downtown Indianapolis.
You think so?
Because the infrastructure has fallen to pieces in this joint.
Yeah, we can, charge the taxpayers for that?
Sure, everybody else is doing it. Why can't we get some of that government grift?
Yeah, if your president can do it, why can't we? All right, well, coming up in just a little bit at 10 o'clock, we're going to be joined by Rick Snyder. He is the president of the Indy FOP. There was a lot of violence and crime in Indianapolis over the weekend, so we definitely need to get his take on what is going on. But over the weekend, CBS released a new poll, and that poll said a lot of things. But one of the big things, big takeaway from it, was that a significant majority of Americans approve of President-elect Donald Trump's handling of his presidential transition and the entire team. He has an approval rating right now at 59%. And it spans a lot of demographics, including a surprising amount, 65% approval from younger voters under 30.
So this is good news, but let's take a deep breath here before we start taking a victory lap. All newly elected presidents get a honeymoon phase.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Trump is getting right now. It's a honeymoon phase. So his approval is fantastic, and I'm sure that's going to continue through the inauguration, and things are going to look great, but eventually his approval numbers will come back down to where they've traditionally been the last 8 years.
Our polling also finds many of the president-elect's well-known designees have more support than opposition, including Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, and Pete Hegseth.
Okay, so a lot of his designees have a lot of support too. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, also Pete Hegseth. And with his ratings being at an all-time high, he needs to take complete advantage of this. The part that surprised me about this poll was the 65% approval rating from young voters under the age of 30.
Well, young voters, and so the last job I had before I worked here, I worked for a big data analytics software company, and we did a ton of research on consumer behavior and what people are thinking these days. And the number one thing that kept coming up and up again and again and again is that people value authenticity more than anything, and that's more so, even more so with the younger generation. Hey, you may not like Donald Trump, and he may be crazy, but I think everybody believes that what you see is really Donald Trump. That's his authentic, genuine self. I don't know that there's many people that believe that what we saw of Kamala Harris was authentically Kamala Harris.
No, it was all scripted, right?
Of course, she's a career politician that has come up through the system, that was anointed with no primary. She couldn't answer a question to save her life. That's not who Kamala Harris was. She was too afraid to show her real self. Donald Trump isn't afraid to show him his real self, and people appreciate that authenticity. Even those that disagree with Donald Trump. You may not like him, but at least you believe that that's who he is. He's not putting on a show for me.
I think another reason that you're seeing these high approval ratings from the younger set is because this is a demographic that just wants stability. If you think about it, a lot of these people, I mean, they were born in direct proximity to 9/11 and everything that has happened throughout their life up until they graduated from college with these protests on their college campuses, threatening their graduations. They just want stability.
The Great Recession, the COVID lockdowns.
Everything and with Donald Trump, there's the hope that they're going to get some back to normalcy, back to stability. And another thing that this poll shows that throughout the campaign, Republicans have said that America's best days were in the past, while Democrats felt their best days were in the future. Now these views have completely flip-flopped, and after Trump's win, most Republicans feel Americans' best days are in the future. And you said, don't take a victory lap just yet. Oh, no, we're taking that victory lap, dude, because we won.
Well,
so get used to it.
You know, here's what these numbers do. And it completely obliterates this legacy media narrative that Trump's cabinet nominees are radical and out of touch. That's not the case at all. This is who he campaigned with. RFK, Tulsi, Elon, Vivek, all of them were on the campaign trail with him. We all knew that they were all going to be a big part of his administration. People are just getting what they voted for. And this legacy media sitting out here saying that these are awful, terrible people and they'll never get confirmed. It's like they learned nothing from all of the BS they spewed during the election process. They're just back to that same playbook again and again and again. The media thinks that's something we've always got to keep in mind in this. The legacy media hates you. They think you're dumb. They think you're racist. They think you're misogynistic. The media thinks they're better than you, that they're right and you're wrong. And this poll disproves that completely because people support Trump and they support his cabinet nominees.
One person who does not support one of his cabinet nominees is a senator from Illinois, Tammy Duckworth. She's been there. She's the junior senator from Illinois. She's been there since 2017. And she says that he does not have the experience to be the Secretary of Defense.
He never commanded a unit. He never commanded a company, let alone battalions, brigades, or whole armies. He was a platoon leader. He served at a very low level in the military, and we're talking about an organization that is 3 million servicemen and women and civilians and a budget of over $900 billion. He does not have the experience to run an organization of that size. So just based on those requirements alone, he is unqualified for the position.
Okay, counterpoint, Secretary of Defense Leon Panetta, he served 2 years in the Army and only achieved the rank of first lieutenant. 3 other secretaries of defense were former captains. 6 served as Secretary of Defense with 0 military experience. So guess what, Duckworth? That just don't track.
That's the point in all of this. We have had these establishment people lead these cabinet positions for decades and decades. The federal government is broken, and that's why Trump is putting outsiders like Hegseth in there to go in and change it.
So John Fetterman, he's on board. He says that he's not going to pre-hate this.
You indicated, Senator, this week, at least it seems to me, correct me if I'm wrong, that you're open to supporting two of Trump's cabinet nominees so far, Marco Rubio for Secretary of State and Dr. Mehmet Oz for the CDC. Is there anybody else on his cabinet list that you think you might get behind? And then on the other side, is there anyone on your sort of over my dead body list?
Yeah, well, and again, of course, I'm a fan of my colleague from Florida, and I'm going to enthusiastically going to vote yes for Senator Rubio. And then, with Dr. Oz, I mean, everybody understands that we ran in the same cycle, and it got kind of ugly. And I don't have any kind of bitterness. And I just expressed I'm open to a dialogue to hear what he has to say about these things. I'm not sure why that's controversial to say, hey, I think I saw a great from Bill Maher. He just said, I'm not going to pre-hate. I'm not going to pre-hate a lot of these things. And I'm not going to pre-hate this. I'm going to have an open conversation for anyone that I'm open to having part of that conversation. And there's some people that I just couldn't be able to vote for that. And there's some that might be able to enthusiastically vote yes. And like my Senator Rubio or Stefanik, or actually there's that fantastic labor nominee as well, too.
So he said Stefanik.
Stefanik, hey, why bother getting the person's name right when you can just vote yes for him? It's
But
fine.
at least he's saying, you know what, I'm going to give him a chance.
Hey, 2024 is wild, man. Who would have thought that Fetterman would be the voice of sanity and reason from the left? The high good night, everybody, who still walks around the Capitol in a hoodie and jean shorts, is the level-headed, rational one coming from the left. He's like, hey, I don't know. Let's take a listen, take a look, see what they got to say, look at their qualifications. I may vote for him. I may not vote for him.
He said in terms of the incoming administration, he actually likes what he sees, especially when it comes to them being pro-Israel. We've got a lot more to get to, and that's all coming up. It's the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
No matter where you head on your commute, Matt Bear is there. Paris.
Les Champs-Élysées sont un véritable parking ce matin.
Warsaw.
W drodze do pracy, wyjdź trochę wcześniej.
Or Brazil.
Temos bisbilhotice no Rio de Janeiro. Não haja como turista.
Matt, these are all cities in Indiana.
Oh, that makes my job easier.
Making your commute easier. Matt Bear Traffic. Mornings and afternoons on 93 WIBC.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-285-0395. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, what's all this I hear about seasons free things?
Yeah, we're giving away even more than usual this season.
Free alignment with any Ford tire purchase isn't seasonal, Mike. It's free every day at Tire Discounters.
Sure, but right now, guess what else happens every day?
I know that customers can save up to $529 on Goodyear and Cooper tires.
Absolutely. Now, guess what else?
Mike, I'm a phantom tire buyer with a secret identity. Please don't toy with me.
Okay, here's the deal.
Yes?
We're doing these drawings.
Like a game show.
And one lucky customer per day wins all their money back for 4 tires.
Spectacular! But why call it seasons free things?
You know, season's greetings. It's like a play on words.
Yes, of course it is. I knew that.
It's seasons free things at Tire Discounters. One lucky customer per day wins their money back on tires. Everyone saves big on major brands. And a free alignment and oil change comes with every 4 tire purchase.
An official message from Medicare.
Couple more minutes, and we'll start this month's book club.
You know, I usually love a plot twist, but this year, I'm comparing my options during Medicare open enrollment.
You can't assume your current health or drug plan is the best one for you.
And you gotta make sure your drugs are covered. That's important.
So is saving money.
Review all your options at Medicare.gov. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Discover cancer care that empowers you at Community Health Network MD Anderson Cancer Center. Our multidisciplinary care team will guide you every step along the way.
It was very overwhelming at first, but I found this whole community of people who are understanding and just very supportive. So I have a lot of thankfulness and gratefulness for who I am through this and after this.
Learn more at ecommunity.com/cancer.
Don't want the worry of maintaining your furnace or air conditioner? Join B&W's Premier Club today. Visit bplusw.com/radio to learn more. B&W is your independent American Standard Air dealer.
She's too special for just an average gift. See Pierce Jewelers for the breathtaking sparkle in their rare, one-of-a-kind, fancy colored diamond collection. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
According to CBS News, the average American loses out on an average of $182,000 in Social Security income, and it's because they file for their benefits at the wrong time. Learn how you can avoid this with a free Social Security analysis from Bill Demery, your retirement guy in Indy. We trust Bill to help us with planning for our retirement, and you can too.
This free analysis could help you get the most income from Social Security while considering the impacts on your spousal benefits, taxes, IRA and 401k withdrawals, and Medicare premiums. If you've saved more than $200,000 and have not yet filed for Social Security, schedule that free analysis right now by calling Bill Demery. 317-648-5120. Don't lose $182,000 in Social Security income. That money's rightfully yours. Call Bill Demery, 317-648-5120. That's 317-648-5120.
Get in gear with fall savings at Tom Roush Lincoln. Get a brand new 2024 Navigator. Get an incredible $10,000 off plus 0% for 60 months. Or get $7,000 off select new 2024 Lincoln Aviators plus 0% for 60 months. So get some of those fall savings at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers.
Qualified buyers with approved credit. Not all buyers will qualify. Taxes and dealer fees extra. Stock number L24412. MSRP 104,200. Stock number L24208. MSRP 75,300. See dealer for complete details.
I went to My Computer Career because I needed job security.
Because I wanted a career in cybersecurity.
I went to My Computer Career because IT jobs are everywhere.
My old job was going nowhere.
I went because I didn't want college loans for the rest of my life.
Because I wanted a career for the rest of my life.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. Classes available online or in person. Financial aid available for qualified students, including the GI Bill. 529 college savings plans accepted.
Not available in Washington State.
You know what it's like in here this morning?
What? I do know what it's like in here this morning, but you tell me what you think it's like.
It's like IU football.
Yeah? How's that? Explain yourself.
Nothing's working.
Nothing's working. It's like IU versus Ohio State.
It is. It's like you come out strong, you got a game plan, and then it's just not clicking.
All blows up in your face if you missed the first segment. There's a lot broken at the Emmis building in downtown today, from the parking garage entrance.
Kevin got stuck in the elevator this morning.
I'm sorry, Kevin. Every time I hear somebody getting stuck in the elevator, whether it's Kevin or Rob or whoever, it just makes me laugh immediately, which I shouldn't, because it's going to be me one day.
I know. I was
it's going to be
do
me
we
one
want
day.
to get in the elevator to go up this morning, or should we just use the stairs? I don't even know where the stairs are to get up to the fourth floor.
We knew.
Scale the outside of the
gotten
building?
the text message from Kevin saying I'm stuck in the elevator before we got in our elevator.
In the
Now,
elevator.
granted, it's a different bank of elevators, but still, I felt like we were rolling the dice. We kind of won the lottery.
Yeah, but now Kevin's computer is broken. So all of the audio that he came in early to get for this #1 rated program, he can't access any of it.
Hey, man.
What is going on?
Sometimes Mondays are issues, and this is one of those Mondays.
You think? All right. Well,
I'm glad Rob's not here for this because he would be losing his mind right now. He would be jumping out the window here on the 4th floor.
Well, let's talk about IU football, can we? So the Notre Dame Fighting Irish moved up to #5, while the Hoosiers fell to #10 in the latest AP college football poll that came out yesterday afternoon. So Notre Dame rose from 6 to 5 after they took down Army 49-14 on Saturday. Irish are 10-1 for the year. Indiana also 10-1, but they went from, that big loss. They're now not ranked quite as high as they were.
For Notre Dame football, I am so ready and so excited for Notre Dame to make the college football playoffs and completely disappoint me and get their butts kicked like they always do. We've been there. 2012 BCS National Championship. Casey and I are at the game in Miami. Greatest day of my life.
Yeah.
Right up until kickoff. Total disaster. 2019. They're playing Clemson in the college football playoff. Take our daughter down there. My daughter and I go to Dallas to see the game. We're all excited. They lose 30-3 to Clemson. 2021, back in the playoff again, playing Alabama. And kind of saw those results in 2012, and it happened again in 2021. So while I'm still a big Notre Dame football fan and glad they're going to make the playoff, I have no expectation for them to do anything in the playoffs.
No, they do what Notre Dame always does.
Always does.
Choke at the big game.
Crap the bed at the end of the season and end up looking terrible, and then you're ashamed at yourself because you believed in them at some point.
I saw a lot of people were rooting for IU over the weekend, and I'm going to say this, risking knowing that it will be very unpopular.
Oh, I'm interested. What?
And I hope I don't get a whole lot of hate for this, but I am a Buckeye-born Hoosier. Lived in South Bend for 25 years, paid tuition to Purdue University for 4 years, and yet I was still rooting for Ohio State over the weekend.
That's all right. You have your allegiances. You were born in the state of Ohio.
Yeah, I know.
Everyone in the state of Ohio is a huge Ohio State fan. That just doesn't kind of fall out of you over time. It's always ingrained with you. I was pulling for the Hoosiers. They started off great, scored first, up 7-0, and then gave up 28 or 35 unanswered points after that, and it was all downhill.
Do you have a bloody nose?
I do.
Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? What is going on?
It's chaos. Armageddon. It's Armageddon. Cats and dogs living together. Mass hysteria.
So you get a bloody nose occasionally when the weather turns, dry sinuses, that sort of thing.
And that just happened while I was on the air since this break started.
And I look at you,
Carl.
And I know what's going on.
Carl, bringing me some paper towel.
We're falling off.
That's it.
Track.
Turn off the transmitter. Show's over. Station's done for the day. We're going home.
Wow. All right, Kurt Darling, I hope you've got an uninterrupted newscast coming up.
Total chaos.
It's 93 WIBC.
In the fight against lung cancer, it's game on, game strong. Franciscan Health leads the way with robotic technology to find and treat cancer sooner. Our entire team of multidisciplinary experts let cancer know it's hard to play against us. Franciscan Health is changing the game for lung cancer patients. Schedule a consultation or second opinion today. Visit franciscanhealth.org/lungcancercare.
As our loved ones age, ensuring their safety at home becomes a top priority. This is Tina McIntosh, president of Joy's House and co-host of the Caregiver Crossing radio program. I'll be right back with some practical things you can do to reduce the possibility of a fall or injury.
Cardon and Associates offers the finest senior living options tailored to your loved one's needs. Reservations are now being accepted for new apartments at Copper Trace in Westfield. Visit cardon.com.
Removing tripping hazards such as rugs and floor clutter is one way to prevent or minimize falls around the home. Another is to position grab bars in the restroom and other common areas where your loved one may need some extra support. Contact your local area agency on aging to inquire about low-cost or free installation services. More tips like this are available anytime at caregivercrossingradio.org. With new weekly content created by Joyce House and distributed in partnership with Network Indiana, we're an on-air and online support group for Hoosier family caregivers. Hear conversations with experts, access a library of online education, and more at caregivercrossingradio.org.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
He's made his last nomination. It's 57 and cloudy downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:30. President-elect Trump has rolled out his last few picks for his cabinet for the consideration of senators. Fox's Jared Halpern.
President-elect Trump nominated Brooke Rollins to serve as Agriculture Secretary, rounding out his preferred cabinet. Rollins led the Domestic Policy Council in the first Trump administration and has since led a conservative think tank aligned with the president-elect. Hedge fund manager Scott Bessent is President-elect Trump's choice for Treasury Secretary, and Scott Turner, a former NFL defensive back who ran the White House Opportunity and Revitalization Council in the first Trump term, was tapped to serve as Secretary of Housing and Urban Development at the White House. Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Well, a ceasefire between Hezbollah and Israel is likely being agreed to in principle by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Israel still is skeptical of some of the details, they say, in an agreement as negotiations continue. The ceasefire would also have to be approved by the Israeli cabinet. Your opening bell report on 93 WIBC, brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management, LLC. Big gains to start the week. The Dow was up 403 points at the opening bell to 44,793. The NASDAQ is up 186 to 21,035. And the S&P 500 is up 45 to 6,032. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-285-0395. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395.
Avoid Black Friday frenzy at Sullivan Hardware and Garden with donuts, coffee, and mimosas early on the 29th while saving big. Shop, play, experience Christmas with Sullivan's.
A true partner in your health dedicates time to understanding your needs. At CenterWell Senior Primary Care, doctors make one-on-one time with you a priority, so you can get all your questions answered and feel more confident in your health care. See how it feels to have a team of senior care experts working together to help you feel your best. CenterWell, it's about time. Schedule a tour today at meetcenterwell.com. That's meetcenterwell.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Sometimes it's just easier to shake your head. No, why is this happening? You know what? What's going on here at the station with Kevin being stuck in the elevator this morning, and then our phone lines going down, and then Kevin's computer breaking, and then you having a bloody nose out of nowhere randomly. It's almost indicative of what's going on in Indianapolis with all the crime that happened over the weekend.
Oh, man,
It's just bad news all the way around. Coming up at 10 o'clock, we're going to be joined by Rick Snyder, Indy FOP, and we're going to talk to him about everything. Something else that happened over the weekend, Elon Musk teasing that he might buy MSNBC from Comcast. And if he does, I say, hey, he should also grab that Sci-Fi Channel for all of his rocket launches as well.
Oh, yeah.
Polymarket giving this a 15% chance that Elon will buy MSNBC. after he's flirted with the idea on X. He keeps teasing it that maybe him and Don Jr., maybe him and some other people will buy the organization.
Well, that's how him buying Twitter started. Somebody posted on Twitter, said, "Hey, Elon, you should buy Twitter." And he responded, how much?
How much does it cost?
Yeah, how much does it cost? So there's a couple of things about this MSNBC sale as it relates to Elon. You're going to have to take all of the cable channels that Comcast owns. It's likely that you're not just going to be able to buy NBC. You're going to have to buy the Golf Channel and the Sci-Fi and USA Today and CNBC and all those cable channels as a bundle.
Yeah, it includes USA Network, CNBC, MSNBC, Oxygen, Sci-Fi, and the Golf Channel, and create a new publicly traded company. There's no way Comcast is just going to sell one.
Right.
They're going to sell the entire group.
So it's going to be significantly more expensive because you're going to have to buy them all as opposed to just cherry picking MSNBC. The other thing of note is there is no way that Comcast is going to allow the new owners of MSNBC to take the name MSNBC with them.
No, they'll have to change the name.
They'll have to change the name. And that changes so then what are you buying? Because MSNBC is a cable network. It's not like a television network where you own all these individual affiliates. You know, if you were to buy the NBC network, you'd buy the owned and operated NBC affiliate in New York, in LA, in Chicago, in Houston, and all of those. What are you really buying if it's not the name? You're buying what? The contract to get carried on cable channels and some equipment. MSNBC probably doesn't own any real estate. They probably don't own the offices that they work out of in their studios. All of that land and the offices are probably leased. So I don't really know what you're buying here.
So Elon has said that many times he would like to buy broadcast radio stations so that he can have the frequency. But with cable, you don't even get that bandwidth.
Right. Elon had talked about buying, traditional radio and television broadcast frequencies and use those radio frequencies instead of broadcast to use them to transmit data, similar to like Starlink or Wi-Fi or anything like that. Yeah, you don't get a broadcast frequency with NBC. You get whatever equipment they have and their contracts. And so their contracts are, okay, this cable company is going to pay me this much money to carry MSNBC. But then the problem with that is Comcast is the largest cable company in the entire world. So they've already negotiated these great contracts, and now you're going to have to renegotiate them back with Comcast, who you just bought them from. There's not a lot here if you buy MSNBC.
There's nothing. There's no cables in the ground.
They don't know. MSNBC doesn't own that. Comcast owns a lot of cables, and so do other cable companies. The transmission lines, you're not getting that. You're really not buying much outside of a little bit of equipment and a bunch of contracts, and that's about it.
Okay, so Joe Rogan has teased that if Elon bought MSNBC, he would look like Rachel Maddow and do the job. He would wear the same outfit and the same glasses and also tell the same lies. It's interesting to speculate what sort of programming would be on the cable channel if it were to be purchased by somebody else.
Right. Now, Elon does a good job of being able to walk into a brand new business and be successful at it. You want to build some rockets? Cool, let's build some rockets. You want to build an electronic payment transfer system? Let's do that. Broadcast is a little bit different because even when he bought Twitter, he comes from that software engineer background, and Twitter doesn't create any content. It's just the platform for others to put out content. And MSNBC, if you own a cable channel, that's all you're doing is creating content. So he would have to obviously hire a lot of content creators and people that are experts at that to do that for him.
Many people are rooting for him to do that just to see people like Rachel Maddow and Morning Joe and Mika be fired. And some people have said, okay, so put Tucker on there, put Joe Rogan on there, put Alex Jones on there. Theo Vaughn, put all of these podcasters on there. I wonder if they would even consider doing that, because all of these people that are being named as potential talent to go on a new cable show, they all have these companies of their own that are quite successful.
And they all have these audiences that are infinitely already larger than MSNBC. I mean, Joe Rogan gets 30 million downloads a month. MSNBC is nowhere near that. They've got a fraction of that sort of audience. So I think it could be something where Joe Rogan might say, yeah, I'll license my show. And while I do my show and it's distributed on YouTube and Spotify, MSNBC, if you want to air it on, Friday afternoons, knock yourself out and give me a couple of bucks in exchange for it. I think it's that sort of probably conversation that's going to take place with those podcasters.
So in 2018, Rachel Maddow, she started crying on air because of a report about how migrant children were being separated from their parents and put into shelters.
Young children. Oh, hold on. To at least 3. Can we put up the graphic of this? Thank you. Do we have it? No. 3 tender age shelters in South Texas. Lawyers and medical providers just... I think I'm going to have to hand this off. Yeah.
Okay, so she's crying in 2018, but from 2021 through 2024, thousands of migrant children went missing and many died. Not a single tear was shed. And currently, 325,000 kids are missing under the Biden-Harris administration. So where are the tears currently for those children?
Well, there's a different administration in power now, so no tears there. Hey, Barack Obama was the first one to separate migrant families. There were no tears from Rachel Maddow when Barack Obama was in office, and he was separating migrant families. So it's just more disingenuousness from MSNBC, and we saw that throughout the whole election, and just going to keep on continuing as long as their current ownership structure exists.
So the head of TikTok has apparently reached out to Elon Musk to see how Trump is going to deal with that platform.
How do you think that phone call went?
Second term.
Hey, Elon, it's TikTok. How's it going?
What's going on?
What are you guys doing? So, that whole thing where Trump wanted to ban TikTok and stuff? Yeah, is he still saying that? What does he ever talk about me? Right. What does he say about me? Does he want to get back together? Mm-hmm. You think he'd do that?
So Trump did sign an executive order to ban the app during his first term, but he did say there's a lot of people on TikTok that love it. There's a lot of young kids on there that go crazy without it. So we'll see. And I'm curious, does Elon Musk have any insight into how Trump feels about, being the first buddy and all? Is that what we're calling Elon Musk, the first buddy?
The first buddy? Hey, little buddy.
First friend.
I tell you what, Trump probably likes TikTok a heck of a lot more now because his Trump dance, those videos are everywhere on TikTok, whether it's videos of Trump dancing or Trump fans dancing or the clips of all the athletes on the field doing the Trump dance after they get a sack or a touchdown. I have a feeling that Trump's opinion of TikTok may have changed a little bit in the last couple of years.
Well, according to a report from the Washington Post, that beacon of honesty, sources say that Trump does intend to halt the TikTok ban once he gets into office. But how about Elon and Trump doing everything together? The Democrats, they had Elon. He was a Democrat, but they just...
what? He was everything the Democrats love. He was pro-environment, stopping climate change. He's the first guy to ever make a viable electric car company, which people thought was impossible. He was, the poster child for the Democrats.
But they ignored him.
Well, and the big thing that happened is when Biden had that EV summit and invited every single other electric car manufacturer except for Elon and Tesla. That seemed to be the breaking point for Elon, and he was like, you know what? These guys aren't going to give me a fair shake, and I'm out. Yeah. I'm going to go over to the other guys.
So how much do you think MSNBC would cost if Elon were to purchase it? But again, as we mentioned, he's probably going to have to get them all the channels. The number between $4 and $5 billion is what's being tossed around.
And that's for the bundle of Comcast, of all of Comcast.
That's just for MSNBC.
No way is anybody paying $4 to $5 billion for MSNBC. You don't get the brand name. You don't get any hard assets with that. I don't see it being the real number being anywhere near that.
Well, and if they have to change, they're not call letters, but if they have to change the brand name of it, because they're not going to, NBC's not going to let them keep it MSNBC.
Yeah, that's part of the reason why Comcast wants to get rid of them, because they believe
it's killing their brand.
MSNBC is tainting the NBC brand.
Right. So they're going to be starting from zero.
Absolutely zero. There's no way, not anywhere near is that thing worth anywhere near $4 to $5 billion.
They'd lose all their advertisers. I mean, they'd have to start at zero with them as well.
And they've lost a ton of advertisers already. Look, if Comcast really wanted to get the most out of MSNBC, they would have sold it 3-4 months ago before the election when people were still watching MSNBC. Now their ratings have gone in the toilet, and there's really not a clear path for them to gain that back. We don't have even a midterm for another 2 years. Next presidential election isn't for 4 years. That's the next time MSNBC can hope to have a significant rise in their ratings again when people are, dialed into politics. Just an awful time to sell it. It's just flat out not worth anywhere near $4 to $5 billion.
Okay, well, let's talk about other funded propaganda. And this time it is funded by you, the taxpayer. Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's been working with Elon and Vivek with Doge, says that they're going to look into defunding NPR.
Tell us what you see as the most government waste.
It's all over. Every single government department, program, grant programs, contracts, it is everywhere. And so when we look into a deep dive into this massive problem that's caused America to be $36 trillion in debt, we're going to have to go into all kinds of buckets. And that's how I'll be separating things on the oversight subcommittee on Doge. We'll be looking at everything from government-funded media programs like NPR that spread nothing but Democrat propaganda. We'll be going into grant programs that fund things like sex apps in Malaysia, toilets in Africa, all kinds of programs that don't help the American people. I want to talk to the people at the Pentagon and ask them why they can't find billions of dollars every single year and why they fail their audit. But not just that.
Okay, so in that clip, she mentioned getting rid of NPR. So taxpayers spend $535 million a year.
A year
on the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, which is NPR's parent.
And PBS television, yes.
And even worse than that, it's not authorized by Congress. This just happens. So do you feel comfortable paying for Democrat propaganda? That machine?
Well, this goes back to part of what, the Doge was created to do, and that's eliminate the bureaucracy in the deep state. It's not authorized by Congress. So that means it's the bureaucrats that keep funding this every single year. And, geez, $500 million. I just can't believe we're giving that much money to NPR and PBS. And what's so funny is the comeback on the left over the weekend for most of this was, well, the vast majority of money, they only get a small portion of their total operating revenue from the federal government. Most of it comes from donations and from the individual stations paying a licensing fee and that sort of thing. Can you imagine a worse argument than, that's really not a whole lot? Fine.
Then
you should be just fine without it.
Then how about zero?
How about nothing? You should be just fine without that $500 million and be able to compete in the free marketplace like every other business without a government subsidy. Thank you for proving our point exactly. You're right. You've got a ton of money coming in from other places. You don't need the taxpayers' money. Case closed.
Okay, so the CEO of NPR, Catherine Mayer, she says that truth is a distraction from getting things done.
But one of the most significant differences, critical for moving from polarization to productivity, is that the Wikipedians who write these articles aren't actually focused on finding the truth. They're working for something that's a little bit more attainable, which is the best of what we can know right now. And after 7 years there, I actually believe that they're onto something. That for our most tricky disagreements, seeking the truth and seeking to convince others of the truth isn't necessarily the best place to start. In fact, I think our reverence for the truth might have become a bit of a distraction.
Our reverence for the truth is a distraction. We should not begin with seeking the truth. And our tax dollars fund this. Your tax dollars fund her salary. You're paying for her to spew that nonsense.
And here's another interesting thing. So part of the original charter that's still in place today for the Corporation of Public Broadcasting, this went back in the 60s, is they are required to be objective in their programming, and they're subject to have that programming regularly reviewed for objectivity. But clearly,
when was the last time it was reviewed?
Nobody has any interest in doing that because nobody's reviewing it. So we're giving them $500 million that is not not required, that's just being given to them. It's not written into law, and
not approved by Congress.
Not approved by Congress, and what is part of their charter that they're required to be objective, nobody's holding them accountable to that.
Yeah. Okay, so Matt Gaetz is on Cameo. Can you believe it? We got to talk about that coming up.
That was the weirdest story of the weekend.
It's the Kendall and Casey Show. It's 93 WIBC.
Monday on the Tony Kinnett Cast, we've got Josh Hammer and a whole lot to discuss. It's time to break it down. See you at 7 p.m. or the podcast anytime.
Hey, it's Rob for Universal Windows Direct. It's the holiday season, a time for family, friends, and staying cozy inside. But if your home is drafty, it's hard to stay comfortable. And with all the gift of giving happening this time of year, why don't you give yourself the gift of lower energy bills with new windows from Universal Windows Direct. At Universal Windows Direct, if you act right now, for every 2 windows you buy, you're going to get the next 2 free. There's no limit. Plus, Universal Windows Direct is offering 0% financing for 60 months. That's 5 years of interest-free payments. Now, some restrictions may apply, so call today, 317-659-7574, 317-659-7574. Don't wait. Make sure your home is ready for the winter and the holidays. Call Universal Windows Direct today at 317-659-7574 to schedule your free in-home estimate or visit UWD.com. Universal Windows Direct, UWD.com. Tell them Rob sent you.
When you have a fire emergency, you need a restoration company you can trust to put everything back together. Pat Sullivan here for the Michaelis Corporation. I know. I've relied on Michaelis after a fire at my home. I'm here with the owner, Richard Michaelis. Richard, what makes Michaelis the right call if you have a fire?
Michaelis is local and family owned. We are your neighbors, 39 years of experience, and we'll respond 24/7, 365. The Michaelis Corporation is IICRC certified. We will restore your home or business to pre-loss condition or better.
I've lived it. Michaelis was on the scene at my home before the firefighters had even rolled up their hoses. They asked me about calling a restoration company. I told them I had Michaelis. They told me Michaelis was the real deal. You help with insurance, too?
Yes, we'll work through the insurance process to give you peace of mind.
Water, storm, fire, and mold. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Text or call 844-FIXED-INDY. Make it Michaelis.
Earn, save, grow. It's time your money works harder and goes further with a Stockyards Bank and Trust CD. For a limited time, earn 5.15 annual percentage yield with our 5-month CD special. Proudly serving our communities since 1904. Visit any of our 5 Indianapolis area locations or syb.com/IndyCD today and experience the Stockyards Bank difference. 10,000 minimum balance required. Limited time offer. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Never miss your favorite shows on WIBC. Get your content to go. Would you like fries with that? Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, Hammer and Nigel, Tony Kinnett, The Gun Guy, Home and Garden. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
It was a very violent weekend in Indianapolis over the weekend. 13 people shot, 3 stabbed, 2 killed. That's a person shot or stabbed every 4.5 hours. Coming up at 10 o'clock, we're going to be speaking with Rick Snyder, president of Indy FOP, and we're going to get his take on everything and where we're trending and what can be done about it.
Yeah, that'll be a good conversation to have with Rick.
Yeah. Also, over the weekend, Matt Gaetz went on Cameo. The former congressman launched his new side hustle. He's offering personalized videos on Cameo, charging $250 per video initially. He quickly rose the price to $525.
Hey, Tara, it's Matt Gaetz. Your friend Jordan wanted to send congratulations for making partner at your law firm. Everyone's super proud of you. And look, I know your politics and mine may not align specifically, but you know, our career trajectories might not be either. I mean, here you are making partner, and my legal career took a little bit of a different turn this last week. But you know what? Work hard. get paid a lot of money, do a lot of great things as a practitioner and counselor at law. And, you never know. You could be an attorney general nominee too. And that could, the great success you're about to have, being a partner, being an equity, it's just going to make you love capitalism all that much more.
Okay, so he joined Cameo the same day he announced he would not be sworn into Congress in January, despite him winning his reelection.
Matt Gaetz is a millionaire. His parents are millionaires. He's got tons. There's no way he's doing this because he needs the $500 to wish somebody happy birthday. He's trolling people by doing this.
Well, you heard what he said. We may not be on the same political side.
Right. So this is people trolling. Hey, you know what? My friend has just got a promotion and she's a big lib. I'm going to get Matt Gaetz to do a cameo and give her a big thanks.
Yeah. So you remember when George Santos, the big liar from New York.
Now that guy needed the money.
Well, he went on there and he made enough money to surpass his congressional salary, which was $174,000 a year in his first week on the platform. So I have to question, what is Matt Gaetz doing? Like, what is his intention? Is this just for fun?
George Santos made
over $174,000
in 1 week.
Yeah, in 1 week.
Okay, I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong. Maybe Matt Gaetz is doing this for the money. I didn't realize.
He's fundraising for a run for governor
you
in
could make
Florida.
a couple hundred
perhaps?
grand in a week doing cameo.
Many people are saying that Trump is going to put him in a special counsel position. He should.
He should put him in a special counsel position, and Matt Gaetz needs to get off Cameo. Get off Cameo.
It's the Kendall and Casey Show. It's 93 WIBC. Rick Snyder's going to join us next.
How does it feel? Hey, it's Rob. If you want to grow your hair back, check out the precision and accuracy of the Artist Robotic FUE at We Grow Hair Indie. You'll be amazed at the permanent natural results you can get and get back to work ASAP. Darren Andrews, Clinic Director of We Grow Hair Indie, is here to tell us more.
The Artist Robotic FUE hair transplant at We Grow Hair Indie, one of the most sophisticated hair transplant procedures available. The accuracy and the precision of the Artist Robotic FUE is what clients love the most. Get the results you want with our Artist FUE or multi-unit hair grafting procedure.
Don't wait. Call today and find out more about the Artist Robotic FUE at WeGrowHairIndie.com. Call 317-522-2995 for your hair evaluation. 317-522-2995 or go to WeGrowHairIndie.com and grow your hair back today.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-285-0395. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395.
40 years of B-Window.
And 80,000 Indiana homes with windows, doors, siding, and bats.
Pam and I are happy to announce B's 100 employees now own B-Window, and Patrick Renard will lead B as CEO.
And B will continue the customer-first feeling that George and Pam built. And to celebrate B employee owned, B's offering our Black Friday sale, 52% off, plus 10% manufacturer rebates, and 18 months, no interest, no payments.
Proud to be employee owned. Woo!
So this new dose is, well, nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
Oh, new prescriptions. Cool. Let me check to see if these are the lowest cost options covered by your Medicare plan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
Don't you deserve health care you can count on?
Well, you can count on United Healthcare with Medicare plans that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. You can enjoy reliable coverage and low out-of-pocket costs with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plans. Made for Indianapolis, trusted everywhere. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today.
Do you need furnace or heat pump service and need to find a local well-trained expert you can trust like Reinhardt Heating and Cooling? Well, find that American Standard dealer at IndyHomeComfort.com.
Express the heartwarming message that says love is about being together. Let a Pierce Jewelers diamond engagement ring be the symbol that says I love you. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
Coming up in 2 minutes, the violence reached a whole new level in Indy over the weekend, plus why a couple of officers in northern Indiana are on the bench for now, and all good things must come to an end, so says the IU head football coach. I'm Kirk Darling. That and more coming up from the Technology Recyclers Studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
The incoming Trump border czar will go to the border. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, ahead of a mass deportation plan.
When Tom Homan arrives here tomorrow, he is going to be sending a message, and that message is that the Trump administration wants to be a partner for the state of Texas, not an adversary like we've seen with the Biden administration, which has essentially sued Texas every single time they've tried to secure their own border.
Fox's Bill Malungian in Eagle Pass. Some attorneys general in Democrat-led states and some governors and mayors are planning to defy federal deportation attempts, and Fox's Molly Line reports from Boston.
There are about a half a dozen sanctuary cities across the state of Massachusetts, but focusing on Somerville, the city council is going to take this up. They've had actually a long-held commitment since the late 80s to being a sanctuary city. The move coming, though, just a week after and despite ICE agents arrest of an accused and wanted drug trafficker from Brazil in that city.
Israel and Hezbollah keep working on a possible ceasefire deal to stop fighting that's already killed many Hezbollah leaders, along with some civilians in Lebanon and Israel, where Iran-backed militants have fired rockets since the Hamas terror attack last year that triggered the war in Gaza. A disaster off the coast of Egypt, 17 people missing after a yacht sank.
There were 31 tourists and 14 crew on board the Sea Story when it left port on Saturday. They were on a 5-day diving trip from Egypt to the Red Sea, famous for its coral reefs. The Sea Story sent out a distress call shortly before dawn this morning. It's not yet known why it sank.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. The day before a record Thanksgiving travel rush begins, there's a one-day strike at Charlotte's airport.
Employees at Charlotte Douglas International Airport who clean terminals, airplane cabins, who assist wheelchair-bound passengers into other work are off the job and on the picket line, striking what they say is too little pay.
It's anywhere between $14 and $19 an hour.
The airport is open and flights are not interrupted.
That's Evan Brown. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
What led to one of many? It's 57 and cloudy downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:02. Several shootings over the weekend, one outside of a strip club on the east side.
What we've been able to ascertain so far is there was some kind of disturbance inside the establishment. And one of the individuals involved stated that he was going to go out to get his gun.
IMPD Captain Don Wildhammer. The fight escalated in the parking lot with gunshots. One man was wounded. There were others throughout the city as well. 2 men ended up killed in separate shootings. IMPD officers might be getting a raise. Harrison Silcox.
The Indy FOP announced Friday morning a tentative agreement on a new 4-year contract with IMPD. The new deal would make IMPD officers some of the highest paid in the state while also improving starting salaries for new hires. The FOP says the new deal includes an average of a 24% increase in officer salary over the 4 years of the contract. IMPD is supposed to vote on its approval December 5th. Harrison Silcox, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
A couple of officers are on leave in Rochester after shooting a man over the weekend. They were responding to a domestic disturbance call when they say Stephen Harding pulled out a gun as officers approached the home. He pointed it at the officers who ended up shooting and killing him. New technology is helping farmers, but a lot of that tech requires access to the internet, which can be hard to come by in rural areas.
So many people just rely on their cell phone for internet access, and
to be honest, that isn't sufficient.
Katrina Hall with the Indiana Farm Bureau. She tells Wish TV the state is getting $15 million in federal grant money with the goal of bringing more high-speed internet options to rural areas. All good things must come to an end. The words of IU head football coach Kurt Signetti after the Hoosiers lost to Ohio State 38-15, their first loss of the season.
They won. They deserved to win. They're a terrific football team. And coupled with the noise, it made it a very, very challenging day for us.
The Hoosiers face Purdue this coming Saturday in the Old Oaken Bucket game. I'm Kirk Darling on The Level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Do you have an idea for a book, fiction, nonfiction, or a children's book? We can help you put it together and bring it to market at Dorrance Publishing. We have thousands of testimonials from people just like you that we've helped get their books sold in stores and online. We've even got a service called The Writer's Coach. It's perfect for people that have a book idea in their head and they just need someone to help them put it on paper. Dorrance Book Publishing has been helping people just like you who have a book idea, written or not, for over 100 years. Imagine being counted among the most famous authors in the world with your very own book. Call right now and let us help you turn a book idea into reality. It's easier than you think. You just need a little help. Call us now.
800-879-4098. 800-879-4098. 800-879-4098. That's 800-879-4098.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Pierce Jewelers, Carmel's Diamond Engagement Ring Store.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Monday, November 25th. It is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. Rob Kendall has the day off, and in the studio, we've got Jim Roberts. It's Daniels and the Dude today, but joining us on the WIBC hotline, we have Rick Snyder. He is the president of the Indy FOP, serving over 3,000 active and retired members from 10 different law enforcement agencies in central Indiana. And Rick, we had to get you on the phone this morning because it was a violent weekend in Indianapolis. 12 hours of shootings on Indy's east and south sides. Some other media outlets have said the rates of violence were exaggerated. What say you?
Well, I think all you have to do is look at the outcomes. We had, over the last 72 hours, 13 people shot, 3 stabbed, with 2 killed, tragically. That's 16 people shot or stabbed, which averages out to be a person shot or stabbed every 4.5 hours over the weekend in our capital city. And, you know, as it relates to these other media outlets, I got to tell you, it sickens me when I see them trying to downplay the crime and the violence that's occurring in our city. We're at record levels, the likes of which we've never seen. And poor old James Briggs and the Indy Star keep aiming at nothing and hitting it every time when they try to report on this issue. And the real senseless part in all of this is there's real people involved, real victims, and real families being impacted. And to downplay that at this point in time, I think, is a disgrace.
Rick Snyder's joining. He's the president of the Indy FOP. And I saw a statistic that said Indianapolis is quickly approaching a 5th straight year of 200-plus homicides. Is it true that we're currently outpacing homicides in Chicago?
That is correct. So right now, guys, as of this moment, we have already had 761 people shot, 167 people stabbed, with 191 people killed so far this year. Our trend lines show that we'll exceed 200-plus homicides this year. When you adjust for population differences, we are outpacing Chicago in homicides per capita by over 5% right now in our capital city. And this is what I say to people outside of Indianapolis. Sometimes they'll say, hey, you know, that's in Indianapolis. That's not where I live. Why does it matter to me? The reason why it matters to you is because it is your capital city of the state of Indiana, and as goes the capital city, so goes the rest of the state.
Reverend Harrison recently said that the IMPD is now caught in the middle of conflicts and power struggles. Can you tell us more about what you think he means by that?
Well, I know exactly what he means. I think it's easier to ask this question. If we are now on pace to hit the 5th straight year of 200-plus homicides when the city of Indianapolis has never hit 200 homicides in its 200-year history. The simple question is this: what changed? Well, I can tell you what changed. These so-called criminal justice reforms that were implemented coincidentally in January of 2020. And guess what? We've had 5 back-to-back years of record levels of homicide ever since that occurred. Casey, that's why we launched what we called Operation Firewall a few weeks back. And we proposed that this state legislature that's coming into session right now and this new administration of Governor-elect Mike Braun, they need to take assertive steps to place guardrails on the judiciary branch. You know, we've been talking about this for countless years now, and they have failed to take action on this matter. So we've called on the state legislature to create what's called a Commission on Criminal Justice Outcomes to focus on what's been going on, establish these guardrails for the courts to operate within, especially as it revolves around issuance of bond for allegations of crime. We have to pass the constitutional amendment that is before the State House right now to deny bail for repeat violent offenders and also provide for no automatic bail for crimes with guns. And then finally, we have to start focusing on victims again instead of the offenders and let them know that these lives that have been lost and the families that have been impacted matter to the residents of the state of Indiana.
Rick Snyder is joining us. He's the president of the Indy FOP. And are you saying that this would be a strategy that would focus on decreasing the criminal homicides? It seems like the city has moved away from this and not really having a collaboration between the prosecutor's office, the city government, and your organizations, the anti-violence organizations.
Well, there's no doubt that politics has gotten in the way of the people, and it's our politicians in charge who have allowed that to happen. I firmly believe that we have a chief of police in Chris Bailey who knows and has the strategy to get us to where we need to be. But I got to make it clear, the local politicians in charge in Indianapolis need to unhandcuff our chief of police and the officers that he leads and allow them to start enforcing the law again. But that's got to be backed up by a court system and, just as importantly, a prosecutor who will actually uphold the law according to the state of Indiana.
Hey, Rick, is there anything the average citizen can do? Casey and I live in Indianapolis. We're big supporters of the police department. Most of the listeners of WIBC are in the same boat. Is there anything the average citizen can do to anything with this situation?
Yeah, I was just speaking to a group up in, on the north side of Indianapolis, and they asked the exact same question. The first 2 things I say is, first, if you're a believer, pray. There's a lot of power in prayer. Yeah. And second, if you're living in Indianapolis, vote differently. You know, I mean, it's as simple as this. You know, if you say, well, some other person will just do the same things, well, at least give them the chance to do that. Don't keep rewarding the same failed politics that we keep seeing throughout Indianapolis. That's why I always say focus on the outcomes, because they cannot get around them. And I think the third thing is this. You really need to place the focus on this state legislature this year. And I'm really looking forward to hearing what Governor Mike Braun and Lieutenant Governor Beckwith and this new legislature, what they're going to do about this. They've got to be sick and tired of hearing about what's going on in Indianapolis, and they're going to have to take action. And I think they can also do other things like we talked about in this Operation Firewall. They need to implement the authorizing language for us to do innovative things like implement the user fee on these tickets for events, where there's a modest $3 fee that can help offset all these public safety dollars that are being flooded out. Everybody loved Taylor Swift coming here for her concert for 3 straight nights, but it required 400-plus officers being diverted to downtown each of those 3 nights. Those don't come off trees where we pick them off and use them when we need them. They came from the neighborhoods that are paying for that, and not a dime of that was paid for by the users of the service or the vendors. That's something that has to change.
Yeah, that's a really smart idea, especially when you consider the extraordinary prices people were paying for those tickets. You have to assume that a couple dollars more for their safety would be worth every single penny. Now, Doug Carter recently did a YouTube chat or video, and you reposted a lot of it. What was the big takeaway for you on that interview?
Well, that came from a podcast that we do on a YouTube channel called Remnant Revealed. We were blessed to have him come on and speak with us. I think it was very revealing that he shared a lot of behind the badge things and shared that he still struggles with a lot of the devastating impacts that he's been exposed to through crime and violence, dramas and traumas of the job, and that he's a man above all things, and he's been impacted by that.
Where can people find that?
On YouTube, if they just search Remnant Revealed, it'll pop right up. It's the latest episode, episode 89, and it's a phenomenal episode. And really what he did in there is he also, as a leader in law enforcement, gave younger, newer officers the permission to, one, ask questions about why bad things happen to good people, but also to seek help from others and focus on their own wellness. It's so powerful. I encourage people to watch it.
Rick Snyder is joining us from the Indy FOP. You recently reached an agreement with your contract. Tell us about that process.
Well, we've been talking about we have to make a shift from focusing on recruiting new officers to retaining the officers that we have, because we are simply losing more officers than we're able to bring in the door. And so we've long advocated for the mayor of Indianapolis to take assertive steps on that front. It took us over 9 months to get to that point. It was a long, arduous process, but we got there. And I think we have a proposal before our officers that allows for an average of a 24% pay raise over the next 4 years, no less than 21%. I think it's a game changer for the IMPD moving forward. And now we go through the process of educating our membership on the details of that, and then hopefully getting a ratification of this contract within the first week of December.
Yeah, one of the big things, problem that you have faced is retention and attrition with your current staff. So hopefully this will help you get more people on the force and help keep them there. One last question before we let you go. We've got the holiday coming up, Thanksgiving on the way. Does crime typically go up or down during a holiday weekend?
Oh, it goes up. Yeah, very much so. You would think that it would go down because everybody is together with family and away from work and all those other things, but it actually goes up because everybody is together with family, and domestic violence goes through the roof, and a lot of other crime and violence and crimes of passion. And so here again, your officers are going to be out there. They're going to be leaving their families to go and protect your family. So that's why we always say we always appreciate the prayers for their safety, that they are able to return back safely to their families at the end of their watch. And I would just say to all the residents out there and all your listeners that as tragic as things have been, we still all individually and collectively have a lot to be thankful for. And I just pray that they remember who it is that we give thanks to, and that they take time to do that through this week. And remember that the blessings of God are available to us all.
Well, thank you for all you do, Rick. We're big supporters of your police officers and put themselves on the line every single day. And so thank you for us. We're thankful for you and the IMPD police officers. So thank you.
Thank you, guys. God bless.
Yeah, you too. It is the Kendall and Casey Show. It's 93 WIBC.
Ceasefire deal with Iran-backed Hezbollah militants could be just days away.
Tentatively agreed to a U.S.-backed proposal.
93 WIBC.
Shootings happened this weekend at the Brass Flamingo Strip Club. Numerous shots rang out. 191 homicides this year.
Hear the news.
Indiana's first loss to second-ranked Ohio State dropped them from 5th to 10th.
Another news update is minutes away.
Notre Dame went up from 6th to 5th.
93 WIBC Mobile News.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9379. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9379. That's 800-575-9379. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. GI Bill, SkillBridge, and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
An official message from Medicare.
Medicare plans change from one year to the next. And this year, it's important for you to review your current coverage and compare all your options during Medicare open enrollment. Compare health plans, drug coverage, and costs. See if you can save some money, and don't forget to make sure your drugs are covered. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Visit Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Join Sullivan Hardware and Garden early on Friday. Enjoy a little breakfast and save on gifts, decor, clothing, jewelry, and more. Shop, play, experience Christmas with Sullivan's.
Did you hear the news, brother? Hulk Hogan saying in an interview over the weekend on Fox News that Donald Trump might offer him a position in his upcoming administration.
Love to see it. This is why we voted for Trump. Hulk Hogan. There is precedent for this. I think it was either Reagan or H.W. Bush that put Arnold Schwarzenegger as the head of the Presidential Council of Fitness or whatever, which is kind of a made-up thing, but at least it brought some attention to physical fitness and being healthy, and I think that's likely what Trump is probably going to be doing with Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, Hogan was recounting a discussion that he had with Trump at a rally in October at Madison Square Garden, where Trump seemed to be open to the idea of Hogan running. It's the President's Council on Physical Fitness. Okay, so this is a panel that promotes healthy eating and physical activity. It was renewed by President Biden until September of 25, which means that if Donald Trump wants to put Hulk Hogan in this position, they'll renew it for even longer than that.
Can you imagine that? Come on, brother. I'm the head of the President's Council on Physical Fitness. You got to get up in the morning. You got to eat your vegetables. You got to do your push-ups and sit-ups. You got to get fit. You got to get healthy. And we all got to take down the Iron Sheik.
Well, you know, Hogan's been a big ally of Donald Trump. He received really loud applause when he spoke at the Republican National Convention in July. He spoke before Trump's nomination acceptance, and he was asked, you know, why he wanted to get involved, and this is what he said.
Well, you know, Brett, I got tired of remaining silent. You know, I sat back and watched the borders collapse. I watched the economy collapse. You know, I watched the price of gas, the price of food, everything just do an upside down flip. And when they took a shot at my hero, Donald Trump, I realized that I couldn't be silent anymore. You know, I had to step up. I had to be a real American, just like all these real Americans here in Donald Trump. I have a voice too, and I want people to know it's time to talk. It's time not to be silent anymore.
Okay, so Hogan, he's got, you know, a reputation for fitness. A little, right?
Sure, yeah, he's a big jacked up guy, of course.
Makes him a good fit to lead the President's Council on Physical Fitness. Also, he has this good bond with Donald Trump, some respect on both sides, which could lead to a productive partnership in addressing some key issues with physical fitness and health. And also, Hulk Hogan, he's, you know, a beloved public figure, and he's got a strong following. He has a platform to draw attention to it, and this really pairs well with Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s Make America Healthy Again initiative.
Yeah, and you look, both Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Hulk Hogan have a screw loose. Just be honest about it. But most geniuses do. But at the very least, at least somebody is talking about the health of our food, the health of our body, the health of the current, state of America right now. And so at the very least, they're going to be drawing attention to that, which is a good thing.
Yeah, Hogan, with his close relationship with Trump, it could definitely help him navigate the political landscape and advocate for some necessary reforms, things that, he aligns with, improving public health and physical fitness. And
Hogan's got a ton of energy, and he can go out there on TV and say, hey, brother, it's time to get fit. It's time to get healthy. And that's going to draw a lot of attention, and people are going to enjoy seeing that. And who knows, maybe somebody will get more healthy because of it, and that's what we're looking for. But more importantly, we went to a Halloween party one time.
Was it a Halloween party or a birthday party?
It was a Halloween party.
Okay.
It was a Halloween party, and you dressed as Hulk Hogan.
I did. I had the skull cap on and the glasses.
And the fake goatee.
I wore, I think, a boa.
Yeah, you had a big feather boa, yellow shirt that said Hulkamania on it. And I went as Roddy Piper.
You did.
I had a wig and the Hot Rod T-shirt and a kilt, and we were the best costumes of that party.
I remember walking up to a guy that was at the party, and he looked at me like, "What is going on?" Thought I really was a guy.
Thought you were a guy? Well, you were wearing a lot of clothes and a lot of fake facial hair, and
the
had
mustache
the skull
really
cap.
It had to go after a while though, because it kept falling off. That Halloween glue didn't work so well.
Kind of ruins the magic of it when the mustache is falling off your Hulk Hogan contest. No, it was a great. Have you ever posted that photo on Twitter?
No, I don't think I have. I should.
I'm going to send it to you.
Okay.
I still have it in my phone. I'm going to send it to you. You need to post that on Twitter.
I was body slamming people all over that party. No, I wasn't.
But you could have.
I could have.
You could have, and who was going to say anything? They'd be like, hey, just Hulk Hogan does what Hulk Hogan does, man.
Right.
That's what we expect.
Being in character. Okay, so Donald Trump is on the cover of Time magazine, 47th President of the United States, and it actually is a good picture of him. He's behind a podium, he's got the microphone there, and he is smiling.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. So, this is kind of my wheelhouse here in collectible publications and magazines. Mostly it's on the sports end, but there are some really collectible political figures. So Donald Trump was on the cover of Time magazine back in August, right after the attempted assassination in Butler, Pennsylvania, and it's the iconic photo of him and his fist raised and blood on his face. That has turned out to be an extraordinarily collectible magazine. And in fact, a copy of it that was graded at the highest grade of 9.8 sold on eBay just in the last month or so for $1,100.
Wow.
So
do we think that this Time magazine cover, it says it's a special edition. Will it be valuable?
It'll be valuable and collectible in a high grade. Yeah, I don't know that it'll be as collectible and valuable as the fight image, just because that image was so iconic and so emotional. But yes, absolutely. This Time magazine with Donald Trump on the cover will definitely be collectible. 2 weeks ago, Kamala was on the cover. I'm going to guess that one not so much. Not nearly as collectible as the Donald Trump cover that's out this week. And you're right. It's a really good looking, because it's a good looking photo of Trump on the cover, and that really lends to its collectability. If it's a good photo, just kind of has a visually appealing aspect to it.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that they picked a nice photo of him and not something, where he's looking angry or.
And they've done that in the past plenty of times too,
as
well. So yeah, hey, maybe even Time magazine figured out, hey, if we want to sell some more magazines, maybe we should put a pretty interesting picture on it. So here's something interesting. Newsweek, back in 2016, Newsweek produced a whole bunch of magazines with Hillary Clinton on the cover saying Madam President in anticipation of her winning the election.
Yeah.
Some of them leaked out of the production process.
Okay.
And so that is a highly collectible magazine
because it was never for sale.
Never for sale, never released to the public, and it says Hillary Clinton, Madam President. There's a great example of a political magazine that's very difficult to find and very, very collectible.
So Donald Trump's been on a few other magazine covers in the past. What is the most valuable magazine cover that he's been on?
You want to know?
Yeah.
Yeah, the most valuable. He was on the cover of Playboy in 1990.
Okay, and that's the one that fetches the most money.
That is the one. Copies of that graded at 9.8 sell for between $3,000 and $5,000. Very, very collectible and very, very in demand in the collector community.
Used Playboy magazine. There's a little ick factor there.
Yeah,
for me.
definitely. He was also on the cover of Time. His first Time magazine cover appearance came in 1987. That one's really collectible. Yeah, he's been on a lot of magazine covers, and they all have a draw. Everything with Donald Trump is collectible. He's got his own trading cards. He's got his own coins.
His own guitars, his own shoes.
There's the demand for Donald Trump collectibles and merch is still through the roof. And now that he's going to be president for 4 more years, my guess is that's just going to continue.
I saw Riley Gaines had posted that she was buying a copy of it at Target. And I of course, was trying to inspect the magazine that she had in the photo to see if there were any creases or bends or fingerprints or anything like that. If you're somebody who wants a piece of history, I guess, where would you recommend is the best place to buy a magazine that's in good condition off the newsstand?
They can be difficult to find these days. It used to be that every grocery store in Walgreens had a huge magazine rack. Not the case anymore. I've found that the Barnes & Noble at Keystone,
they have a good selection.
They have the best selection. As somebody who's been to every single Barnes & Nobles in the entire metro area, the Barnes & Noble at Keystone is your best bet. They got the best variety and selection. I would also think
an airport would be a good place.
Airports are super underrated for magazines because they sell a ton of them because people grab them and then read them on the airplane. So yeah, whenever I travel, I always bring some extra bags and boards and some protective envelopes to buy them and put them in so they stay in good condition.
Some people actually buy magazines to read them and then just dispose of them, not collect them and hold them forever. But if you were somebody who wants to hold on to it for posterity's sake and maybe pass it on to somebody hoping that it'll be worth money, what's the best way to store it?
The best way to store it's called bags and boards. Yeah. So it is essentially a cardboard backer in a little bag. You slide it in, and that keeps it from being exposed to the elements. And then you got to obviously keep it in a climate-controlled environment. You don't want to store it like in a storage unit or your garage or your attic. You got to have it in a climate-controlled area.
If you can't hear that, those are my eyes rolling right now.
Yes, I'm sorry. You're inundated with this at home, and now you're inundated with this here at the radio station. It's your life.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
We've got your voicemails coming up next. It's 93 WIBC.
What does the joy of Christmas mean to you? A gift? Time with family? Decorations and traditions? At Shepherd Community, the joy of Christmas is learning to read, feeling safe and loved, finding a stable job, and having a community that cares. Shepherd gives its neighbors gifts of joy and hope for a brighter future. You can give the joy of Christmas to neighbors living in poverty, not just at the holidays, but all year long. Visit caringatchristmas.org/give. That's caringatchristmas.org/give.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
He has them all. It's 59 and cloudy downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:30. President-elect Trump has made all of his nominations for his cabinet secretaries.
Announcing 10 picks over the weekend alone in what's being called maybe the most ideologically diverse cabinet in modern times. The president-elect choosing a pro-union, moderate Republican Congresswoman Lori Chavez-DeRemer as labor secretary. Project 2025 co-author and architect Russell Vogt was picked as director of the Office of Management and Budget, and Brooke Rollins, Trump's former director of domestic policy, is the pick for agriculture secretary.
Fox's Brian Linas. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is approving a ceasefire deal in principle with Hezbollah. That's according to multiple reports. Israel is still skeptical of some of the details in the agreement as negotiations continue. Israeli forces launched a military offensive into Lebanon in September. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hey, it's Rob for Universal Windows Direct. It's the holiday season, a time for family, friends, and staying cozy inside. But if your home is drafty, it's hard to stay comfortable. And with all the gift of giving happening this time of year, why don't you give yourself the gift of lower energy bills with new windows from Universal Windows Direct. At Universal Windows Direct, if you act right now, for every 2 windows you buy, you're going to get the next 2 free. There's no limit. Plus, Universal Windows Direct is offering 0% financing for 60 months. That's 5 years of interest-free payments. Now, some restrictions may apply, so call today, 317-659-7574, 317-659-7574. Don't wait. Make sure your home is ready for the winter and the holidays. Call Universal Windows Direct today at 317-659-7574 to schedule your free in-home estimate or visit UWD.com. Universal Windows Direct, UWD.com. Tell them Rob sent you.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9379. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9379. That's 800-575-9379. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
I've been a loyal Window Nation customer for a number of years now, been saving money on my energy bills. In fact, experts are saying heating costs are going to increase up to 23% this winter, and that's why you need Window Nation windows, which, by the way, are 50% off.
I'm a Window Nation customer, and with this deal, you can be a Window Nation customer. 0% interest for 5 years, but you got to hustle. This deal ends November 30th. 866-90-NATION. Call today or go to windownation.com.
Healthcare.gov has plans for health because you have plans for life. All plans cover doctor visits and emergency care to keep you and your family running strong. All plans cover hospital stays and prescriptions so you can have peace of mind. Visit healthcare.gov to explore health plans from the brands you know. 4 out of 5 customers can find a health plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Enroll at healthcare.gov by December 15th for coverage starting January 1st. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
She's too special for just an average gift. See Pierce Jewelers for the breathtaking sparkle in their rare, one-of-a-kind, fancy colored diamond collection. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. It's time to hear from you. Kendall and Casey present Voicemails. Brought to you by QC Kinetics for non-surgical regenerative medicine treatment at 317-559-PAIN.
Here we go with your voicemails at 317-684-8444. It is the Kendall and Casey Show. It's 93 WIBC. Rob has the day off, and the dude is in the studio. Daniels and the dude on your Monday. So hundreds of migrants from Central America hoping to reach the United States before Donald Trump assumes office and launches his border security and mass deportation crackdown in January. They're relying on the CBP One app, which lets them apply for asylum remotely even before they get to the border. Somebody wanted to call and make a comment about deportation.
As far as the immigration program or deportations, why don't you do it the easy way? Keep coming up here. Just snatch the owner of the business when you catch with illegal aliens on the payroll and throw his butt in jail. I bet you'd cut down the illegal immigrants way far if you ever did something like that. Why don't you give it a shot?
Okay, that's our fan. He loves us so much.
It's our fan.
Can't tell.
Singular.
But we're not talking about just adults that are coming across the border. There was a group of 211 illegals in Texas, and within that group, there were 60 minors without parents, ranging in age from 2 to 17. 6 of those young children were coming all the way from Angola and Mali. And there was also a 2-year-old girl from El Salvador in the group who was traveling to the United States alone. All she had with her was a note and a contact number and a name. She literally had a Post-it note with a name and a phone number on it. So don't tell me that that 2-year-old girl was coming to work somewhere. So rounding up the factories or the people who employ illegals, that's not going to do the job.
Well, and there's already laws against that. And so, there's the I-9 process. Whenever you start a new job, you've got to provide certain documents to prove your residency and your citizenship. And, for companies that have that or illegals that are trying to get jobs, most of the time they're using forged or stolen documents to get that. So how do you blame the owner for that? Are they supposed to all of a sudden be an expert in stolen and forged documents?
Right. They're going to have a notary
notary republic, a notary.
Exactly. And then you've got plenty of illegals that are working under the table for money and aren't officially on anybody's payroll, and certainly that's against multiple laws. Look, this deportation process is going to be very interesting because I think that Trump's new border czar is right. I think you're going to initially see a lot of self-deportation. People that don't want to mess with this, that don't want to get dragged up into this, and are just going to leave the country on their own. You're also going to see, a stopping of all these caravans that have been coming into the country from the border on the south the last 4 years because nobody was going to stop them. Well, now that they know Trump's in office. But then once we get down to actually apprehending people, probably more than likely against their will, and being able to drag them into some sort of procedural process where they get deported and then physically remove them, that's when this is going to get dicey and it's going to get interesting. And that's when you're going to see a lot of protests on the left start up. It's been very interesting this time around. Remember last time when Donald Trump got elected, immediately there was plans for the Million Man March and the Million Woman March and protests all over the country. That hasn't happened this time. But don't think that that's going to stay that way. I think it's when the deportation process starts and it starts getting a little ugly and physical, that's when we're going to start to see a lot more protests and things will get a lot more interesting.
We're going to talk more about this coming up at 11 o'clock, too. But here is one more phone call regarding this. Somebody had called last week and mentioned that there's probably going to be some liberal judge who will block all of this from Trump doing it.
Yeah, I heard Paul touching on the illegal immigration and how maybe the judges will block Trump from deporting so many people. And if he does that, I don't know why they don't just send all of them to, say, Boston, Massachusetts, where Michelle Wu is the mayor and wants to block all that. So maybe we should take the 25,000 Haitians out of Springfield, Ohio, and put them in Boston and see how Michelle Wu likes that.
Yeah, well, they won't like that either. I saw a report that said, and I don't know how legitimate it is, but they said that some of the illegals in Springfield are leaving already because they're afraid of deportation.
And that's what Trump's new border czar has been talking about. You're going to see some self-deportation take place and people are going to leave, and you're going to see a reduction of people trying to cross the border at the southern border because things have changed and Trump is now going to be in office. So some of these things will get fixed by themselves and some of these things will have to get fixed on our own. But
by force. It's gonna be messy too.
All of this. Look, we're talking about 100 years of the deep state and bureaucracy built into this country, and Trump wants to tear it down in 2 years. There's no way you're going to be able to accomplish much of anything without, breaking some eggs and having it be a little bit messy and sloppy. And some of these may end up being spectacular failures. But the option to sit and do business as usual is no longer an option.
A lot of these migrants are traveling in large groups, and they're relying on strength and numbers to protect them not only from the cartels, but also from police during their long journeys to the border. Okay, here's a phone call. Somebody wants to correct me on something.
Oh, boy.
Hey, Casey, I love you, but you keep saying it wrong. They were talking about strong and intelligent women with Donald Trump. You keep saying smart and intelligent, which is not only wrong, but it's redundant. Don't get me wrong. I love you, and I love what you guys do in the morning. Sometimes Rob gets on my nerves, but
Classic.
Keep hanging in there and just say it right because it's important. They're strong and intelligent women, and I'm glad to have them, and I'm tickled that they've decided to pick the side that we think is correct. But I need you to say it correctly. Love you guys. Talk to you later.
Okay.
Would you get your act together, please? Get your act together.
I think at one point, Rob was saying smart and independent, and I was saying strong and intelligent, and now I apparently said smart and intelligent. Like, you know what? Smart, independent, strong, intelligent. It's all good stuff. And yes, Donald Trump has these type of women not only supporting him, but surrounding him in his transition and some of his, nominations for cabinet level positions. So,
and let's not let, details get in the way of what the message is. We all know what the message was, is that,
Mark Cuban's an idiot?
Mark Cuban's an idiot, and there are plenty of proof, strong, intelligent, smart, emotional, great, wonderful, fantastic women around Donald Trump. The exact words that are being used are, that's not the point here. But thank you for your correction.
Somebody wanted to call and make a comment about the fight that's going on in Westfield.
I'm embarrassed as a woman to hear these old Karens in Westfield whine that the soon-to-be lieutenant governor, wants to go talk to some students in school about farming and agriculture. I cannot believe it. This is another reason we need to have the party affiliations for school boards put out there, so we can make sure that we elect conservative school board people in that instructs these principals to get politics out of the schools and have the interest of the students first. I think this would be very interesting to have the top of the state come into a school and talk about agriculture, no matter what their political affiliation is. My goodness, get over yourself, you little Karens out there. This is why we have trouble in our schools, because you listen to 15 whiners, and there's hundreds of other people that would appreciate this kind of attention at the school.
Okay, so we have to make a note here that the Indiana Democrat Party had put out a post.
A tweet on Twitter?
A tweet, yeah. They said the incoming LG posted the personal phone number of a local school superintendent and threatened to defund the school because he wasn't allowed to speak. It was not the personal phone number. It was the business phone number that was easily accessed with one quick Google search. It was public information.
On the City of Westfield School District's website.
That's the phone number that was given out. The email was also a work phone number. So no, we were not doxing anybody. And
wait. So this was
the Indiana Dems have since taken that post down.
So this is the official Twitter account for the Democratic Party of the state of Indiana. Tweeted this out over the weekend that said that Micah Beckwith
posted the personal
phone number of the superintendent of the Westfield School District, and then Rob called them out on it, and the Indiana Democrat Party deleted their tweet.
Yeah. So
get ready, Bal. This is going to be the next 4 years here. Micah's not going to sit here and allow these sorts of things to keep running roughshod in our state anymore.
The Democrats are so used to Republicans just cowering and
right.
Not anymore.
Hey,
that's what this election was.
There's a reason why Rob keeps using the phrase the angry red-shirted teachers, because every time they didn't get their way, they would protest and all the state lawmakers would capitulate and give them whatever they want. Things are going to be different now, and I think everybody needs to realize that and expect that this is going to be a real interesting 4 years.
It is the Kendall and Casey Show. It's 93 WIBC.
Monday on the Tony Kinnacast, we've got Josh Hammer and a whole lot to discuss. It's time to break it down. See you at 7 p.m. or the podcast anytime.
Text scams, identity thieves, data leaks. Hearing about these online threats every day can be stressful. But don't worry, McAfee Total Protection is here to help you live a worry-free life online. So what does worry-free mean? Well, it means you won't have to wonder if that text message is a scam, if new threats will pop up on your PC, or if you're safe from identity theft. Hey, it's Casey Daniels. You might not consider yourself a tech expert, but that doesn't mean you can't protect yourself from online scammers with a little help from McAfee Total Protection. Whether it's a fake missed delivery text or an urgent bank alert, these scams can look incredibly convincing, and that's where McAfee Total Protection steps in. So go ahead, manage your finances and shop online. McAfee will help keep your devices, privacy, and identity safer. Visit McAfee.com/online protection today to get up to 79% off award-winning online protection. Act fast, though. This Black Friday Cyber Monday deal won't last. Offer ends December 4th. Cancel anytime. Terms apply.
Okay, close your mouth and take a deep breath in through your nose. So the way it's supposed to be is that you should be able to breathe easily. You shouldn't feel constrained. What it should feel like is air briskly flowing freely through both nasal passages, day and night. And if not, there's a problem. And it's a don't know what your problem really was until you got it fixed kind of problem. You're living with it. I mean, you're tired a lot. It might give you headaches and sinus pressure, but you're living with it. Yeah, you sound like almost every patient we help until we get their problem fixed. And then you hear them saying, "Why would I put up with that?" Advent will get you breathing freely again with simple in-office solutions like turbinate reduction along with balloon sinuplasty that really can change your life.
To date, Advent has solved over 40,000 breathing triangle problems. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. AdventKnows.com. Results may vary.
Are you ready to take control of your safety? Premier Arms is the place to consider, and they're more than just a gun store. Premier Arms is a community for empowered women dedicated to helping you find the perfect firearm. Hey, it's Casey Daniels. That's how I felt when I shopped at Premier Arms. I asked them a lot of questions, and they treated me with respect. And I'll be making another purchase soon. Premier Arms is in Brownsburg. They're also online at premierarms.com. Their phone number, 317-858-3030.
40 years of B Window.
And 80,000 Indiana homes with windows, doors, siding, and bats.
Pam and I are happy to announce B's 100 employees now own B Window, and Patrick Renard will lead B as CEO.
And B will continue the customer-first feeling that George and Pam built. And to celebrate B employee owned, B's offering our Black Friday sale, 52% off, plus 10% manufacturer rebates, and 18 months, no interest, no payments.
Proud to be employee owned.
The holidays are a magical time to get engaged. At Shane Company, we're here to help you create your dream engagement ring in just 3 easy steps. Choose a setting that speaks to your style. Compare diamonds and colorful gemstones in all shapes and sizes. Then personalize it with a decorative crown and special engraving. Or choose a perfectly preset ring that's ready to go. At Shane Company, you'll find everyday competitive prices, a no-pressure environment, and an unmatched free lifetime warranty. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
A true partner in your health dedicates time to understanding your needs. At CenterWell Senior Primary Care, doctors make one-on-one time with you a priority so you can get all your questions answered and feel more confident in your health care. See how it feels to have a team of senior care experts working together to help you feel your best. CenterWell, it's about time. Schedule a tour today at meetcenterwell.com. That's meetcenterwell.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. An important message about your timeshare from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. Contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about timeshare cancellation.
Call 800-611-7272. 800-611-7272.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group. I occasionally have nerve discomfort in my hands, so the things I love to do...
Let's play something, Grandma.
...became difficult as I got older.
If you have occasional stabbing and burning in your hands and feet, try Nervive Nerve Relief. Nervive's clinically studied dose of alpha-lipoic acid reduces occasional nerve discomfort in as little as 7 days with continued daily use. Say yes to healthy nerves with Nervive Nerve Relief. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Do you need furnace or heat pump service and want a local independent American Standard air dealer you can trust like Absolute Comfort? Well, find that dealer at IndyHomeComfort.com.
It's the Degenerates Next Door, a sports betting podcast for dudes.
Real dudes, not the fake Kardashian-looking like dudes you see on television doing this. The Degenerates Next Door. Download and subscribe today anywhere you get your podcast.
Well, this is the portion of the program that Jason Hammer from the #1 rated Hammer and Nigel program normally joins us. However, he is off today. I think he is off all week. You had mentioned that you saw Nigel in here really early this morning.
Yeah,
huh?
like 8:30 this morning. I saw Nigel in a gray hoodie walking in the hallway. And
Nigel.
Now, well, I'm not normally in this building. I'm just filling in for Rob today.
Mm-hmm.
It did seem odd that Nigel would be here that early in the morning, so good for him. That's what I thought.
He's in early working hard to put together that Hammer and Nigel show today. I believe that the gun guy is joining him today, so that'll be a good show. Michael Strahan has been announced as the honorary pace car driver for the 109th Indianapolis 500. So he's a Pro Football Hall of Famer. He's on Good Morning America, and he also does the Fox NFL Sunday Analysis, right? So that's Is that why they picked him?
Well, it was funny. Kevin off the air was like, Michael Strahan, that seems kind of random for him to be in there. And then we realized and remembered that the Indy 500 broadcast is moving to Fox in 2025.
It's all making sense,
And so I'm sure that's why Fox wanted one of their big sports personalities that does the football pregame show like Michael Strahan to be involved in the Indy 500, which will be broadcast on Fox. None of these things are coincidence. There's a reason why Jimmy Kimmel has hosted the Oscars so many times. It's because Jimmy Kimmel, the Oscars are on ABC, and Jimmy Kimmel does a late night talk show on ABC. They're not doing that because they think Jimmy Kimmel's the best. They're doing it because they can cross-promote one of their own products.
Yeah. So he'll be driving the latest version of Chevy's Corvette, and here he is talking about it.
But what I can get into, this is what I'm going to drive, fellas. Come on over.
Nice.
Okay. Yes, Corvette ZR1. This is my ride right here.
So you're going to drive the pace car this year?
I'm going to drive the pace car. I love this car. This is
Who's with
bad.
you? Who's with you?
Nobody. I don't have a passenger.
By yourself? Nobody will ride with you, will they?
They will ride with me. I'm a great driver.
So if I'm you, I'm driving, I do the pace car lap, and I go right off the track, and I take this right to New York.
You just gave away my plan. Well, the car does over 200 miles per hour. It's going to be hard to catch me, too.
Yeah, how fast are you going to drive in it?
I don't know, Kurt. I don't know if they're going to limit me or what, but I'm going to see what we got here. I know it's a great car. I got all the drivers behind me because I'm leading the pace. I'm going to see if they can keep up.
Okay, so he'll be driving the 25 Corvette ZR1 Coupe. It's capable of reaching 233 miles per hour, the highest top speed of any car ever made in America by an auto manufacturer. No way is he going to get up to that speed.
Here's what's going to be really interesting about that. I don't know if you've sat in a Corvette recently.
Not recently.
There's not a lot of room in
No,
there.
and he's a big guy,
He's
right?
a big dude.
Yeah.
He's like 6'4", 260 pounds. He's going to be cramming all 6'4" of him into this little tiny driver's seat in a Corvette. That is not going to be a comfortable ride for him. They are not built for NFL linemen. But he's going to do it, and I'm sure it'll be interesting and fun. But it'll be interesting. It'll be fun to watch him, cram his big body into that little driver's seat.
I wonder, does he get to keep the car? Like he said, he's going to drive it off and back to New York. I don't know if he does or not.
I've never heard that the pace car driver gets to actually keep the car. I don't even know if they're paid for it or if they just, get it, for the honor of being the pace car driver. I don't know if they're compensated for it or not.
So something that happened over the weekend was that game show host Chuck Woolery passed away at the age of 83. He was the original host of Wheel of Fortune and also... what was it? Love Connection that he did.
That's probably what he's best known for. Is
he
Love
was
Connection.
he was famous for saying this.
To hear everything that happened on that date, we'll do it in 2 and 2. Right back.
He was very specific about the 2 minutes and 2 seconds.
I was probably 12 years old when Love Connection was on. I was not a big Love Connection fan, but loved Chuck Woolery on the $100,000 Pyramid. That was a good game show. I was big into game shows as a kid.
Game shows were big when you were a kid.
They were big in the 80s.
Yeah.
So not so much Love Connection, but love Chuck Woolery on the $100,000
Now all the game
Pyramid.
shows now involve singing, right?
Right, The Voice and American Idol. That's kind of the closest we have
You
to
had
game
Who Wants
shows.
to Be a Millionaire. You still got Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune. They're sticking around.
The classics.
Yeah. It's the Kendall and Casey Show. It's 93 WIBC.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-285-0395. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9379. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-9379. That's 800-575-9379.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
According to CBS News, the average American loses out on an average of $182,000 in Social Security income, and it's because they file for their benefits at the wrong time. Learn how you can avoid this with a free Social Security analysis from Bill Demery, your retirement guy in Indy. We trust Bill to help us with planning for our retirement, and you can too.
This free analysis could help you get the most income from Social Security while considering the impacts on your spousal benefits, taxes, IRA and 401k withdrawals, and Medicare premiums. If you've saved more than $200,000 and have not yet filed for Social Security, schedule that free analysis right now by calling Bill Demery. 317-648-5120. Don't lose $182,000 in Social Security income. That money's rightfully yours. Call Bill Demery, 317-648-5120. That's 317-648-5120.
Avoid Black Friday frenzy at Sullivan Hardware and Garden with donuts, coffee, and mimosas early on the 29th while saving big. Shop, play, experience. Christmas with Sullivan's.
Coming up in 2 minutes, the weather, particularly how cold it's going to get. Plus, IMPD has responded to a ton of shootings between Saturday and Sunday. And the Pacers finally get a much-needed W. I'm Kirk Darling. That and more coming up from the Technology Recyclers Studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
Will the rockets finally stop? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. A ceasefire is looming the day after Israel endured yet another barrage fired by militants from Lebanon that led to more Israeli airstrikes in response.
The Israeli cabinet will meet tomorrow to finalize a ceasefire with Hezbollah. That's according to an Israeli official speaking to Reuters after reports the two sides had agreed to a deal in principle. It would see Israeli troops withdraw from Lebanon and Hezbollah pull back from the border. The Lebanese military would be deployed as a buffer between the two sides.
That's Fox's Jonathan Savage. President-elect Trump's incoming border czar, Tom Homan, will go to the border tomorrow in Eagle Pass, Texas, where Fox's Bill Malugin reports that just yesterday, state troopers encountered about 200 more migrants crossing illegally. Among them,
60 unaccompanied migrant children, some as young as 2 years old. These are tiny little kids who are here with no adults, no guardians, being trafficked into the country by drug cartels and human smugglers. Some of them have little pieces of paper with addresses scribbled on them, places they want to go in the country to reunite with friends or family. Florida, California, Texas, New York, Missouri, Washington, Wisconsin.
Now, some Democrats, from attorneys general to governors to mayors, are planning to resist the Trump plan to carry out mass deportations. Some Americans have started to travel for Thanksgiving ahead of the rush that starts tomorrow. AAA predicts a record number of us, almost 80 million, will go somewhere. And as we get closer to the holiday, the weather could cause trouble.
For the west, rain along the coast and snow for the higher elevations. 3 to 4 feet will pile up over the Sierra Nevada range and into the Rockies. We also have 2 storms back to back for the eastern third of the country, bringing snow for the Great Lakes, the upper Midwest, and interior Northeast.
As Fox meteorologist Janice Dean at the White House, President Biden is about to pardon peach and blossom in the pre-Thanksgiving tradition of sparing 2 turkeys. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Rain and maybe snow. It's 59 and cloudy downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:02. Those could both impact your Thanksgiving Day travel plans in Indiana. Early forecasting shows a system that could cause rain or snow to fall starting late Wednesday.
I think our confidence in our forecast will grow where those rain snow lines may set up will really be in the next 24 to 36 hours.
Jason Puma with the National Weather Service. Highs could only be in the low 30s by Friday. 12 people shot in a matter of hours in separate incidents all throughout Indianapolis on Saturday and leading into Sunday. One of them, an argument that escalated at a strip club.
Outside in the parking lot, numerous shots rang out, and unfortunately we have an adult male with wounds consistent with a gunshot wound.
2 other people killed in 2 separate other shootings as well. 191 people have died by homicide in Indy this year. Rochester police fired their weapons Saturday. Jake McDaniel reports on the person who was killed and what led to the shooting.
They opened fire after Stephen Harding pointed a gun at one of the officers. It happened before 11 a.m. after they found out there may have been a domestic disturbance near a home. Harding did not survive, but no one else was shot or hurt. Officers involved in the shooting will be placed on administrative leave for now, which is normal in cases like this. Jake McDaniel, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Indiana is getting $15 million in federal grant money so that rural areas of the state can get access to high-speed internet. It's all part of a nationwide program to bridge the digital divide, as they say, for farmers, as described by the Indiana Farm Bureau. The Indiana Pacers getting a much-needed 115-103 win over the Wizards Sunday.
This is a tough stretch. I mean, we're without some of our, key players for how we play. And so everybody's got to pick up their game.
Head coach Rick Carlisle, Pascal Siakam leading the way with 22 points. New Orleans comes to downtown Indy tonight. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Life insurance is one of those things that just about everybody needs, but few people actually have. Hey, if you die unexpectedly without life insurance, guess what? You'll leave your family with even a bigger mess. Life insurance will help replace your family's income. It'll help cover burial expenses. Life insurance can even help pay off debt like credit cards and medical bills. Life insurance can even pay for college. And if you own a business and you die, life insurance can help your business from collapsing. It can even help cover estate taxes. Life insurance has never been more affordable and needed. Plus, you can always shop around even if you have a plan and save some money. So call the Life Insurance Quote Line right now for free pricing information.
800-917-8730. 800-917-8730. 800-917-8730. That's 800-917-8730.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Pierce Jewelers, Carmel's jewelry experts.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Monday, November 25th. It's 5 minutes after 11. It is the Kendall and Casey Show. It's 93 WIBC. Rob Kendall has the day off. And in his place, Jim Roberts is in the studio. And over the weekend, Senator Rand Paul suggested that the Denver mayor pledged to resist Donald Trump's effort to deport illegal immigrants would be a form of insurrection. However, he did say in this interview with Face the Nation that he opposes using the military for mass deportations. He said he didn't think it's a good look. If you send the army into New York and have 10,000 troops marching carrying semi-automatic weapons, he thinks it's a terrible image and he'll oppose that. However, he does not oppose removing the people. He just doesn't want the military doing it.
Yeah, and I agree with Rand Paul on this. It is a bad look. That's not what the military is designed to do. Now, if you want to have them, set up a perimeter and secure the streets for crowd control while ICE goes in and removes illegals, then that's something different. But ICE needs to take the lead on this.
He said it's not a good look. It's a terrible image. It is a bad image. However, would you rather have a bad image or would you rather things to continue the way they are?
Well, I mean, he did couch it by saying that he supports us removing the illegal immigrants. He just doesn't think the military is the right way to do it. And this is what I talked about earlier. This is going to get messy. There are going to be people immigrants that resist being deported, physically resist being deported. There are going to be Americans that are going to be protesting the physical removal of illegal immigrants. So tensions are going to run high. Things are going to get physical. And then if you add the U.S. military in there in camouflage fatigues, carrying fully automatic rifles, that may be just more heat to a fire that we don't need.
Rand Paul suggested using the FBI, ICE, and Border Patrol for deportations. He said that they're more appropriate for the task.
And probably better trained for this specific task than the military is. The military is designed to fight wars, to shoot and blow stuff up. That's what they're really, really good at, blowing stuff up overseas and in other countries. They're not used for domestic issues like this, and it probably should be kept that way.
So Tom Homan, border czar, who's going to the border tomorrow, he was asked a question on 60 Minutes if there's a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families, and he's got an answer for it.
We have seen one estimate that says it would cost $88 billion to deport 1 million people a year.
I don't know if that's accurate or not.
Is that what American taxpayers should expect?
What price do you put on national security? Is that worth it?
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there is. Families can be deported together.
Okay, so we're spending between $200 and $400 billion each year on illegal immigrants, and there's some cognitive dissonance going on there with that reporter. She's asking, can we spend $88 billion on deportation? Is that a good use of taxpayer money? Yeah, do the math. $88 billion is less than $400 billion.
Yeah, we're saving money. It may cost us some money to deport illegals, but the money that they're getting put up for with their, stipend spending accounts and their hotels that are being paid for and all the extra things that are being given that way the minute they walk across the border, absolutely it's going to be cheaper in the long run to deport them.
Well, and this reporter, she's stuck on the separating family idea, but doesn't care at all that there's tens of thousands of children who came across the border who are just missing. Completely gone. Isn't it interesting how the government can keep track on whether you had a mandated COVID vaccine, but when it comes to these missing children, we don't know.
Hey, the government.
We don't know.
The government.
Where'd they go?
When they want to do something, they can do something. They can keep track of you and your COVID shot vaccine and keep you or force you out of the military. There's another great example too. How many of our armed forces, members of the armed forces, ended up losing their jobs because they didn't take a COVID vaccination?
Yeah.
But yeah, tons of illegals coming across the border of all sorts and no idea where they're at right now.
So the mayor of Denver, he said that he was willing to go to jail to block deportations.
Trump's new border czar, Tom Homan, has said that he is willing to arrest leaders like yourself for standing in the way of these policies that they want to enact. Would you be willing to go to jail for these things?
Yeah, I'm not afraid of that. And I'm also not seeking that. I think the goal is we want to be able to negotiate with reasonable people how to solve hard problems. Republican and Democratic presidents in the past have all tried to find solutions to these problems. President Reagan helped people get access to work so they could stay and support themselves. Biden and Harris worked on restricting entry at the border to close down. There are a lot of ways to approach this problem.
Huh?
They worked to
wait.
close access?
They worked on closing access and restricting entry into the border.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the mayor of Denver just said, that Biden-Harris administration did that.
Yeah. He later walked back his comments, of course. His comments suggesting that he would use city authorities to resist any mass deportation. I didn't mean that. That's really not what I meant. But Byron Donald said he thinks you're going to see a lot of self-deportation.
How difficult will it be to deport all of those people? Congressman, I mean, the low end is 10 million. It could be 16 million, 20 million people who've come into this country on Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's watch. How do you round all those people up? I mean, are you thinking about military going in there and getting these people out? How will this be done?
Well, then first you start with criminal illegal aliens. They're easy to identify. Working with law enforcement agencies all across the country, Tom Homan and his team, along with Secretary Noem and the Department of Homeland Security, will be able to get those people out of our country very, very quickly. Then you have to move to people who already have deportation orders that have been given to them, but they simply have not left. You move to that group of people to a secondary level. Again, dealing with ICE, local law enforcement. In my district in Southwest Florida, our local sheriffs are more than prepared to use the 287G program to help remove people from the United States. That's how you do it. I think the hyperbole of using the military, we're nowhere close to that. Probably won't even need to do that, because the truth is, once you start deportation proceedings, illegal immigrants understand as well. They don't want to be caught in our country and have to be deported by ICE, because if you are, then you're barred from returning to the United States for a decade. So I think you're going to see a lot of self-deportation once this process begins.
So Trump's proposal to enact mass deportations was a central element of his successful campaign.
Very successful campaign. Landslide, some say.
So despite all of this pushback from Democrat leaders, the election results show that a majority of Americans support large-scale measures to deport illegal immigrants. And all of these cities that have these Democrat mayors who say, no, not in my town. Guess what? New dose of reality is coming. And here's Rand Paul, and he says, you know what? You don't play our game, you're going to get removed from office.
That the mayor of Denver, if he's going to resist federal law, which there's a long-standing history of the supremacy of federal law, if he's going to resist that, it will go all the way to the Supreme Court. And I would suspect that he would be removed from office. I don't know whether or not there'd be a criminal prosecution for someone resisting federal law, but he will lose. And people need to realize that what he is offering is a form of insurrection, where the states resist the federal government. Most people objected to that and rejected that long ago. So I think the mayor of Denver is on the wrong side of history, and really, I think will face legal ramifications if he doesn't obey the federal law.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Pam Bondi said that she's looking at, paroling all of those January 6 people. That'll be interesting to see.
Oh, Trump's new attorney general?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pick. Okay, so President Biden, you remember him, Joe Biden?
President Walnut? Of course, yes. He's still president, isn't he? Yeah, I forget that.
He is still your president. And here he is telling you, well, he's gaslighting you like he always did. You have this big election. He loses, his party loses. They still don't learn the lesson. But here he is trying to gaslight you once again.
One thing I've always believed about public service, and especially the presidency, is the importance of asking ourselves, have we left the country in better shape than we found it?
Good question.
And tonight, I can say with all my heart, the answer to that question is a resounding yes, because of you.
Oh, of course. Of course, Joe Biden is going to stand on a stage and tell you that he's leaving the country in a better position than the way he found it. What a liar. What a complete and total liar. I mean, we could take hours listing everything that he did wrong as president.
Well, let's start with some of them. Hey, if you get the vaccine, you can't get COVID and you won't be able to transmit COVID. So there's number one. Oh, by the way, get the vaccine or we're going to fire you from your job. Inflation is transitory.
Oh, right. I remember that one.
The Afghanistan withdrawal was a total disaster, costing American soldiers lives and handing billions of dollars of equipment back to our enemies again.
How about trading the Merchant of Death for Brittany Griner?
Ooh,
that's a good one.
That was like the worst trade in history.
Yeah, you got cocaine.
Cocaine in the White House.
Cocaine in the White House. Everything that happened with Hunter Biden while he was president. You've got
massive amounts of spending on the remember the Inflation Reduction Act? That was fun.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with inflation and was like $10 trillion that we're going to be spending that we don't have.
How about his State of the Union address? The dark,
Dark
red,
Biden, right? Angry Biden.
Yes, I mean your gas prices have they come down while he was in office? No, they didn't. Do you remember? Was it Easter? It was around Easter when he had Trans Person Awareness Day, and then you had that person on the lawn of the White House who was showing her.
Yeah, you had
bits and pieces.
Yep,
Yeah.
you had that. Yeah, I don't think any reasonable person thinks that Joe Biden is leaving the White House and the country in a better position than when he started.
Yeah.
Be honest with yourself. This is not MSNBC talking here. Be honest with yourself.
Gaslighting to the bitter end. Well, Karine Jean-Pierre, here she is bragging about lower prices.
As Americans prepare for Thanksgiving, there's one more thing to be thankful for.
Yeah.
Much needed relief at the grocery store and the gas pump. For the second year in a row, the average cost of a Thanksgiving meal is falling, and many grocery chains are offering deals for the holiday.
Okay, she says grocery prices are falling, except grocery prices are still up 22% under the Biden-Harris administration. Gas prices are still up 30% under their administration, and a typical Thanksgiving meal still costs 20% more.
You don't get to give yourself credit. When you break something and then you put a little bit of it back together again, you don't get to give yourself credit for that.
Yeah.
Hey, look at this. I destroyed the economy. Oh, I made it. It's a little bit better now. Look at us.
Look what we did.
We made it a little bit better. Don't forget about the part where I broke it and caused prices to go up 20, 30%. No. Don't look over there. Look at this little tiny little bit here that we made better today.
Mom always said, don't play ball in the house. One last audio clip before we get into break. Here's Karine Jean-Pierre telling you where the vice president is.
To Hawaii, while DNC staffers are just wondering what they're going to do for work.
The vice president has taken time off to go spend time with her family. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think she deserves some time to be with her family and to have some downtime. She has worked very hard over the last 4 years, and her taking a couple of days to be with her family, good for her. Good for her.
Do the 325,000 missing children at the border, do they get downtime? Do they get me time? Do they get to spend time with their families?
No, they do not, to answer your question. No, she wanted this. She wanted to be vice president.
She wanted to be president.
She worked so hard, Casey. She worked so hard the last 4 years. She must be exhausted.
Yeah, exhausted from losing.
Nobody's crying any tears for Kamala at all.
It is the Kendall Casey Show. It's 93 WIBC.
Ceasefire deal with Iran-backed Hezbollah militants could be just days away.
Tentatively agreed to a U.S.-backed proposal.
93 WIBC.
Shootings happened this weekend at the Brass Flamingo Strip Club.
Numerous shots rang out.
191 homicides this year.
Hear the news.
Indiana's first loss to second-ranked Ohio State dropped them from 5th to 10th.
Another news update is minutes away.
Notre Dame went up from 6th to 5th.
93 WIBC Mobile News.
You think the Bible's boring? It's hard to understand? This is Pastor Nathan from Life Church. We explain the Bible book by book, chapter by chapter, and verse by verse. We know God's Word breathes life into people Sunday after Sunday. And when we finish a book, not only will you understand it, but we believe that it'll change you. We just started the book of John, and it reveals who God is. If you're just curious or you've walked with the Lord for a long time, we'd love to have you come. Check out lifechurchin.com for service times and locations.
Earn, save, grow. It's time your money works harder and goes further with a Stockyards Bank and Trust CD. For a limited time, earn 5.15 annual percentage yield with our 5-month CD special. Proudly serving our communities since 1904. Visit any of our 5 Indianapolis area locations or syb.com/IndyCD today and experience the Stockyards Bank difference. $10,000 minimum balance required. Limited time offer. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Martha was ready to switch to a career in IT.
There's always a need for IT specialists, especially with AI coming out and cybersecurity. It's practically recession-proof.
My Computer Career even provides job placement help.
The career specialists, they're very helpful. They care about you as a person. You're not just a number to them. I would recommend My Computer Career wholeheartedly to anyone.
Take the free career evaluation today. Become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. Not available in Washington State.
An official message from Medicare.
Couple more minutes, and we'll start this month's book club.
You know, I usually love a plot twist, but this year, I'm comparing my options during Medicare open enrollment.
You can't assume your current health or drug plan is the best one for you.
And you gotta make sure your drugs are covered. That's important.
So is saving money.
Review all your options at Medicare.gov. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Real Stories with Hellsberg.
I had the ring already. She had made it very clear what kind of ring she wanted.
Yep.
I pretended that I was going to kneel and picked up a pine cone instead of pulling out a ring.
What a jerk. But when I saw that ring, I was like, oh, he did good.
I really love Amy. I really, really genuinely love Amy.
I love you too.
At Hellsberg, find the engagement ring worthy of your story. Designed with the love, care, and craft it deserves. Visit a Hellsberg store or hellsberg.com.
Join Sullivan Hardware and Garden early on Friday. Enjoy a little breakfast and save on gifts, decor, clothing, jewelry, and more. Shop, play, experience Christmas with Sullivan's.
Dead blood in the streets, it's up to my ankles.
A storm is moving into the Great Lakes and the Northeast, could affect Thanksgiving travel. Nearly 80 million Americans expected to travel at least 50 miles for Thanksgiving. Peak travel days are Tuesday, Wednesday, and Sunday. It's recommended the best time to travel to avoid a lot of traffic hassles is actually on Thanksgiving Day. Well, you and I, we're going a little bit farther than 50 miles.
50 miles? Those are rookie numbers, man. You got to pump those numbers up. We're going about 600 miles.
Is that how far it is?
It's it's between like 500 and 600 miles to the East Coast.
Oh,
yeah.
Here we go again. Of course, as soon as our kid moved to Baltimore, we knew we were going to be making that trip often, and we're doing it. I hope that this storm that's going to be coming through, you know what's going to happen knowing our luck.
I know exactly what's going to happen.
It's going to come right when we get into the mountains.
We are going to leave here right after the show on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. That'll get us into the Appalachian Mountains about 8 or 9 o'clock at night.
Right when it's dark.
Right when it's pitch black outside, and that's when the snow is going to start.
Yeah.
And we'll be driving 20 miles an hour, and it'll be a 15-hour trip instead of a 10-hour trip.
I hope not.
We'll roll in at 5 o'clock in the morning.
That would be not good. I hope.
Happy holidays, everybody! Out of my way!
She's flying home for Christmas, though. I'm throwing it down right now. She is flying home for Christmas. I'm not making that trip in the middle of December.
Agreed.
The end of December, even. Okay, so let's talk about some Thanksgiving dishes as everybody's preparing. We made our trip to Costco yesterday. It wasn't so bad.
We went late in the day. Here's a tip for you.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to go to Costco on Saturday or Sunday, go like late, like right before they close, late in the afternoon.
Yeah.
You don't want to be at Costco at 1 or 2 o'clock on a Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah, there's a lot of
afternoon.
early birds that like to go there and just, clean the whole place up.
It would be a nightmare. No, we went more like 4 or 5 o'clock in the
Yeah,
afternoon.
it wasn't so bad. We did have to pick up a few things that ingredients that we'll be taking from Indiana all the way to Maryland to make when we get there. And by the way, Costco with that $6 pumpkin pie.
$6 pumpkin pie. Pumpkin pie.
Oh, wow.
The size of a basketball backboard. It was absolutely huge.
I think that's
$5.99.
That's a pretty good deal if you like pumpkin pie because it's a really big pie. And if you think about that, I know we're going to be on the road, and if we were to stop at a gas station and buy a couple candy bars, road snacks, that pumpkin pie was cheaper than a couple candy bars.
Are you saying that we're going to eat pumpkin pie while we're driving? I'm not opposed to it. I'm just saying that the whipped cream on top may be a little bit messy on the steering wheel while I'm driving. But I'm open to your suggestion.
I'm glad you said that while you're driving. I'll be the passenger princess.
Here's the problem.
Although I am going to pack my glasses this time so that if I am driving at night, I'll be able to see without those rings that you get from wearing contacts.
Here's the mistake.
I'm going prepared
Here's
this
the
time.
mistake we made at Costco with the $6 pumpkin pies.
What?
We only bought 2. That was the problem. We should have just absolutely stocked up and put them in the freezer, if nothing else.
Right? Okay, so let's talk about some of the most popular side dishes for Thanksgiving. OnceUponAChef.com has their list of the top 25. We're not going to go through all of them. I'll start at number 6, okay?
This is what their opinion, or did they do a national survey?
This is their opinion.
Okay, got it.
So they've got at number 6, they have potatoes au gratin, and then they have gravy at number 5. They're counting that as a side dish.
Okay, all right.
At number 3, they've got cranberry sauce. Of course, they're being very pretentious, and they say fresh cranberry sauce. I'm guilty of it. I prefer the cranberry from the can that has the rings on it because I'm classy like that, Kevin.
If my cranberry doesn't have ridges and comes out in a tube, I don't want it.
Although your mom does make a really good spicy.
She does make a really good one.
We don't have any of that this year.
No. So we'll just use the canned stuff, which is fabulous. Love it.
They also put Brussels sprouts as one of their top.
I've
never had that for
Thanksgiving. The Pilgrims and the Indians weren't eating Brussels sprouts. All right,
you don't
come
know.
on.
They could have been.
I know.
Easy sausage and herb stuffing is number 2. So they've got stuffing at number 2.
I love stuffing.
Me too.
I'm a sucker for sage.
Oh, yeah?
That's one of my favorite spices.
Okay. Number 1, they've got mashed potatoes.
I'm not a mashed potato fan. I think they're
Love
fine.
Them. They're okay.
They're fine, but you and our daughter, that is your absolute favorite thing, and so
gotta have it. A forkful, a little bit of turkey, a little bit of mashed potato, and some cranberry.
So
in
you
there.
mix your sides together on one.
Well, if you want to
forkful.
get a nice flavor in every bite, a lot of people do mac and cheese on Thanksgiving. Are you one of those families who do that?
I think sometimes, there's some mac and cheese in the mix.
We've never done. My family never, ever did mac and cheese on Thanksgiving. But I'd understand if we're...
That's like a year-round dish to me. Thanksgiving is about those things that you don't have all the time.
Right. Who's making stuffing in May?
Right.
Nobody's making stuffing in May. That's for Thanksgiving and Christmas. That's it. Nobody's having cranberry in October. No.
Although they should, because it's delicious.
It's fantastic.
Although, according to Trucker John, who calls in all the time, cranberry pie is off the list. We'll get to the top 5 pies tomorrow, but let's go through the list of the top 5 side dishes according to Jim.
So every day this week, and leading up to Thanksgiving, I'm going to do my hierarchy of Thanksgiving items. Side dishes. So this is my side dishes that I like.
Okay.
The best. Number 5.
Yeah.
Mashed potatoes.
Okay.
I just talked about that. Don't care for the mashed potatoes. Number 4, cranberry. We're classy like that. We like it straight out of the can. Number 3, stuffing.
There you go.
I have finally, it took me years, because I cook Thanksgiving dinner at our house every year. It took me years to find a good stuffing recipe, and finally...
Yeah, you put the Jimmy Dean sausage in there to give it a little...
It's a breakfast sausage that you cook up like ground beef,
spice.
And then you add that to your stuff. It is dialed in. Number 2...
Yeah.
Sweet potato casserole.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what changed the game on the sweet potato casserole is we got the recipe from Ruth's Chris. If you've ever been there, they have a great sweet potato casserole, and so we reverse engineered it.
Yep, found somebody that reverse engineered the Ruth's Chris sweet potato casserole recipe.
It's like a dessert.
That took sweet potatoes were barely in the top 10 before.
Yeah.
Took them straight to number 2.
Yeah, it is yams time of year, isn't it?
They're on. Yams are like, this is it, baby. This is our Super Bowl, Thanksgiving. And my number 1, and this is going to
number 1 side dish for Thanksgiving.
Make a lot of people angry.
Yeah.
It's not going to be very popular. I may get some hate mail on this.
What?
Green bean casserole.
What?
I just said that. Green bean casserole is the best side. It is so good. I don't know why I don't make it more often. We only make it on Thanksgiving and Christmas, but green bean casserole is the best Thanksgiving side. Hands down, there's no argument. And what does it for me are those fried onions on the top. You buy the fried onions in the little can, the crispy fried onions in the can, just drench the whole top of it.
Okay, now I'm not going to allow you to lie to our audience because we don't make the classic green bean casserole. We do what's called succotash.
It's a little bit different, but it's
different.
essentially the same thing.
It has corn and green beans in it with some cheese on top and then some
But nobody knows what that
stovetop
is.
stuffing
But
to
this
make it give it
it's
a
a little
crisp.
bit different, but green bean casserole is the best side for Thanksgiving. Hands down, no doubt about it. It's classic. It's iconic.
Yeah.
It says Thanksgiving.
Nobody's making it any other time of year.
Which is a shame. It's a crime,
If
actually.
you
We should be
completely
eating-
agree with Jim, I encourage you to call the voicemail line and beat him up about this. 317-684-8444. It is the Kendall and Casey Show. It's 93 WIBC.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A busy weekend for police. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:30. Several shootings over the weekend. One outside of a strip club on the east side.
What we've been able to ascertain so far is there was some kind of disturbance inside, and one of the individuals involved stated that he was going to go out to get his gun.
IMPD Captain Don Wildhammer. The fight escalated in the parking lot with gunshots. One man was wounded. There were others throughout the city as well. 2 men were killed. 191 homicides in Indy this year. A new poll shows most voters approve of President-elect Trump's handling of the presidential transition at this point. The CBS poll released Sunday found nearly 60% of voters saying that they approve of the job Trump is doing as he prepares to take office. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hey, holiday heroes. It's a special time of year at Shane Company. As a family business for 4 generations, we know firsthand that fine jewelry is the gift that says it all. From the engagement ring that says, "You're the one," to the diamond tennis bracelet that says, "Thank you for being you." We have the widest selection of fine jewelry gifts, in stock and ready to take home. Come pick out a pair of hand-matched diamond stud earrings or a necklace with a colorful gemstone. Check out our new Bloom collection, one of owner Tom Shane's favorites this year, featuring stunning sapphires, emeralds, or rubies. At Shane Company, every gift and every price range is crafted to our high-quality standards. We have jewelers working in every store to bring your gifts to life, making sure rings fit just right, setting center stones and engagement rings by hand, and engraving your pieces to make your gifts even more special. Your gifts will always be protected with our unmatched free lifetime warranty. Visit shaneco.com and come see us in store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
40 years of B Window.
And 80,000 Indiana homes with windows, doors, siding, and bats.
Pam and I are happy to announce B's 100 employees now own B Window, and Patrick Renard will lead B as CEO.
And B will continue the customer first feeling that George and Pam built. And to celebrate B employee owned, B's offering our Black Friday sale, 52% off, plus 10% manufacturer rebates and 18 months, no interest, no payments.
Garage Doors of Indianapolis has been a local, family-owned and operated business for nearly 50 years and helps keep Central Indiana's economy strong by employing over 70 families. Garage Doors of Indianapolis stands by their products and services while they share and embrace our conservative values. So when you have garage door problems, call them today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis, 875-4577, 875-4577, or visit doorstoday.com.
Don't you deserve health care you can count on? Well, you can count on United Healthcare with Medicare plans that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. You can enjoy reliable coverage and low out-of-pocket costs with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plans. Made for Indianapolis, trusted everywhere. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
40 years of B Window.
And 80,000 Indiana homes with windows, doors, siding, and bats.
Pam and I are happy to announce B's 100 employees now own B Window, and Patrick Renard will lead B as CEO.
And B will continue the customer first feeling that George and Pam built. And to celebrate B employee owned, B's offering our Black Friday sale, 52% off, plus 10% manufacturer rebates and 18 months, no interest, no payments.
Proud to be employee owned.
Healthcare.gov has plans for health because you have plans for life. All plans cover doctor visits and emergency care to keep you and your family running strong. All plans cover hospital stays and prescriptions so you can have peace of mind. Visit healthcare.gov to explore health plans from the brands you know. 4 out of 5 customers can find a health plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Enroll at healthcare.gov by December 15th for coverage starting January 1st. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Express the heartwarming message that says love is about being together. Let a Pierce Jewelers diamond engagement ring be the symbol that says, I love you. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
So former NBC anchor Brian Williams waited until after the 11th hour to dress down Democrats and their 24 campaign strategy. He said it's time for some tough love for the Democratic Party.
It is tough love time for the Democratic Party. I think it needs to be stripped down and rebuilt. I think that means a change in leadership. I want to know who thought it was a good idea that Joe Biden stand for another 4 years at 80 years of age and 37% popularity. So then that saddled the party with a British-like short campaign season for them. I think it's insulting when members of the working class, which the Democratic Party has lost entirely in our lifetimes, to insist the economy is doing great. A 12-pack of Bounty is $40. Rich folks don't feel that. Poor folks already switched to Sparkle during the COVID, during the lockdown. And I think telling them that the NASDAQ is gangbusters is further insulting. It's insulting. I think the biggest unforced error of the Biden administration by far was the border. To tell people it's not a problem is insulting. For the working class to see incoming migrants getting welcome bags, debit cards, and motel rooms is probably insulting as well. So there's a lot of work to do.
He's correct. It is insulting, all of it.
For as crazy as Brian Williams is, and he's a lefty, and he, lost his anchor job on MSNBC because he was, just flat out lying about his past and things of that nature. He does a very good job at succinctly, taking a very complex situation and succinctly making it as simple as possible. And he did a great job of it there, and he's right on all those points.
He is right on all those points, but why did he wait so long to weigh in? It was like he waited until after the election.
Well, he doesn't have a platform I don't know what Brian Williams is doing. I guess that he anchored, Amazon had election night coverage.
Yeah.
And I guess Brian Williams anchored that election night coverage for Amazon Prime Video. Mm-hmm. But he's not, I don't know what broadcast channel anymore. He's not really in the public eye. He's not anchoring anything anymore. So I don't know where he would have had the opportunity to come out and say that in advance. But he's absolutely right in the postmortem.
Well, I'm sure, he's on social media.
Okay, fine, fair enough.
That was on a talk show. He could have come out and said anything previous to that. It was like he waited until